see you at a movie sneak preview. You'll show up and walk by on the arm of that guy, and I'll smile and you'll wave. We'll pretend it's okay. The charade, his won't last. When he's gone, I won't come back. And it's happened once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone that understands, sticks to the master plan. But everybody's gone, and I've been here for too long to face this on my own. Well, I guess this is growing up. Well, I guess this is growing up. Well, I guess this is growing up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell.
What is up, boys and ghouls? Let me get your comments up here. Hey, there you are. What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday night to you all. I see some people already in the chat looking to you're going to be coming for my head tonight. Hey, look, I'm just going to be honest tonight. And I'm not saying that these movies are particularly bad or like I don't appreciate them or I feel like they're overrated, which is one of my least favorite words. I hate the term overrated. Like, oh, it's overrated. Oh, he's overrated. Like, no, usually things are pretty much rated where they're supposed to be just because it is what it is. I'm not saying it's overrated or these movies don't have a place in history or they're not good movies. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not as infatuated with them as most people seem to be. So let's calm down and we'll talk about it when I get there. So yes, tonight the topic, is classic horror films that everybody loves except me. And I want to hear you guys. I know you guys have some hot takes as well on some beloved horror films that everybody loves. Everybody's always putting over, but you seem to be the one guy, the lone guy out in the crowd that, people are just like, what are you, crazy? And you're just like, it's not that great. It don't work for me. Don't work for me, brother. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. The great classic horror films from the past. And I tried to keep it classic because if I were to just start delving into a lot of the more modern stuff, we could probably be here for hours and hours and hours because there's plenty of those. Just off the top of my head, like Get Out is one of those movies that I remember when it came out, everybody was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I remember seeing it and I was just like, really? Like, this is what's got everybody all fucking up in a tizzy? Like, this is the shit that's supposed to knock my socks off? There's quite a few like that of the modern stuff, but the classics, the stuff that's like it's unheard of for anybody to take any kind of stand against or critique in any little way. And like I said, I'm not tearing these movies down or saying that they're bad or that they're this is what a piece of shit this movie is. There is maybe one on this list that maybe I'm not. Maybe I will say is just like a bad movie that I just don't get. But for the most part, like the picks that I want to talk about tonight are ones that like everybody loves and has been beloved for years that just I'm just not that impressed with, honestly. But it's just my take. Plus, I got something pretty cool in the mail. We're gonna do a little live unboxing, live opening of some Night of the Living Dead related materials here that I just got in today. I haven't even opened it. I haven't looked at them. I don't know what to expect. So I'm gonna open them live on the stream tonight. We'll do that a little later on. Plus, I got a whole stack of Blu-rays over here that I just recently purchased and picked up, and those are always kind of fun to do. The Blue Tuber thing. You just pull out, look what I bought today, guys. We're gonna do a little bit of that tonight because I got probably a stack of 12 different titles here, maybe more of shit that I've bought recently, and we'll get your opinions, your thoughts on these movies, and we'll discuss. But yeah, make sure hit that like button and sub if you're watching for the first time. Now, if you're checking in to see like what is this fucking asshole talking about, like you don't love these movies, um, yeah, if you're new, hit that sub button, notifications bell as well. You never miss a show. Um, but I did see Jeff chiming in here early with the 1979 super chat. I like what you're doing here, Jeff. I appreciate the super chat, my man. But I like the amounts that you're doing here. 79. What a good year. Good year. Good year. Dig the new opening. Hello, Michael, and all my fellow Romero family. What's going on, my man? Always good to have you in the chat. Um, and thanks again for the super chat. Appreciate it. Like I said, I turned them off for a while there because I was just like, I don't want to turn into one of the types that are just always like, I don't want you guys to feel like you have to contribute. Um, but if you feel inclined to and you want to, like, it's so appreciated for me or from me. But yeah, much appreciated, Jeff. And I guess I've been thinking about doing adding a membership option on here. If you guys want to contribute just a little bit per month to kind of help things out here, keep the wheels running. I'm like PBS over here. This channel only exists from the support and contribution from viewers like you. I'm like Mr. Rogers over here, a great Pittsburgh native. Um, so I'm thinking about doing that here soon. I'm gonna have to. This week was kind of a busy week for me. I didn't get to do any videos or really do too much on the channel. I started, and my job started a new area, so that was rough. I'm getting up earlier now, and it's just got a rough week. Really beat the hell out of me this week. So I figured I'd come on here and do a live stream tonight, and we'll get controversial. I'll come on here and piss everybody off. That's my goal. Uh, but yeah, what do you guys think about that? Just like a membership option. I'll do some like membership, members only videos, members only live streams. I have some ideas in mind for some stuff to do. One thing I did have in mind doing like a weekly, short live stream, just kind of covering the news topics from the previous week. Because so much happens. It's funny. Romero hasn't made a movie in 15, 16 years now, and there's still constantly new Romero stuff coming out. There's constantly news. Got the Living Dead weekend right around the corner. Shout out. Um, so I think that might be something kind of fun to do, and just like little, members only live streams where we can just kind of hang out and chat for about an hour or so in the middle of the week and just bullshit. Big shout out, by the way, to Mike Angus for joining me last weekend on the show. That was a really fun conversation. Mike is such a cool guy. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hearing some of his stories and memories of being on the set of Day of the Dead, and looking forward to what he's got coming with this zombie redemption film that he's working on. Because you could definitely see, if you watch that interview last week, you can see it's like I said, his passion for what he does, the determination, the enthusiasm, especially for what he does. I'm looking forward to it. I wish him all the best. I think, he's got some good people to work with. I mean, obviously the cast that he's, put together with Laurie Cardill, John Amplis, Mark Tierno, Eugene Clark. I mean, it's gonna be something fun to watch. Just for the cast alone, and of course, working with Eric, or our good buddy Eric. I mean, the dude's super talented, so he's gonna make it look good. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see what comes of this for sure. But yeah, shout out Mike Ankus. Fun conversation last week. And I did want to give a quick shout out right at the beginning of the show here to our good friend Matt Landrum's been on the channel, always in the chat, been on the channel, in various streams throughout the past few years. One of my best buds just released, go over to his channel at Drone of the Dead, just released a new, it's almost like a mini documentary, and it's literally one of the best videos, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even, like, video doesn't even do it justice. It's like a mini documentary. It's like a mini film that he put together. It's called Spirit of a Place, about the Monroeville Mall and the history of the Monroeville Mall, and his history with Romero's work, Dawn of the Dead, the history of Dawn of the Dead. I mean, it is really freaking cool. I highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to put a link to it. I'll probably drop it in the community section tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to get around to it today because he just shared it with me for the first time last night, and I watched it last night, and I'm telling you guys, like, I was in tears by the end of it. I was like, dude, this was fucking cinema. Like, it's so highly, highly recommend checking it out. Go over to his channel at Drone of the Dead, and if you're going to Living Dead weekend, you know, watch that video before you go, and you'll be hyped. You'll be ready to go. Um, so yeah, I can't tell you how impressed I was with who knew Matt was a filmmaker, guys. Matt needs to be, for because the video is like 45 minutes. Add another 30 or 40 minutes to it and flesh it out. You got a full length fucking documentary there, in my opinion. Um, but let's see, we got in the chat here. I see quite a few people chiming in already, telling me that they want to kill me for my opinions tonight. But hey, this is a safe space tonight, guys. And like I said, I want to hear you guys as well. Don't just leave me out here hanging on a vine talking about these great films that everybody loves, and I'm just like, eh. And then everybody's just coming at my fucking throat. So I want to hear you guys' opinions too. What are some films that you guys that everybody loves except for you? You got the hot take of the crowd. I want to hear about it. Michelle's in the house. What's going on, Michelle? Not sure I'll be staying for the whole stream, but you're fucking tired today. Yeah. Well, what's new, Michelle? What's new? You're always working yourself into that early grave. You need to take it easy. You take it easy. You'll get the Living Dead weekend, I promise. But hope you're doing well. We got Bonnie in the house, and Michelle was one that was already threatening me before I even came on tonight. She sent me a message was like, "Really, Alien? You don't like Alien? Well, fuck you. Get out of here." Bonnie, what's going on, Bonnie? Bonnie Bailey in the house. Good to see you. Got the Revival House boys in the house, which those guys made me a viral superstar this past week for my hot take. I don't even know if it's a hot take, but it was just an interesting take, I guess, on the Scream franchise and the direction that it needs to go. And I didn't know, but apparently Scream fans are like the modern horror equivalent of Swifties. Like they'll come at you. And it was a pretty popular little short that came out earlier this week, and I've had various comments and people adding me and sending me messages and shit on Instagrams asking me my opinions on Scream, and I'm just like, low key, guys, like Scream's just like I don't really care. Like that's just not my thing. But very, very cool. And I'll be back on these guys' channel next Friday for another edition of the Rue Morgue, Inside the Rue Morgue show, where we go through it's episode 3, and it's going to be, I forget what issue it is, but it's from 2007, and it's the issue on Rob Zombie's Halloween. So that's going to be really, really fun, and I think that'll make for some interesting conversation for sure. You guys want controversy? That'll be a controversial one, I think. So yeah, check those guys out for sure. We got Saturn Video in the house. So you don't like Alien, huh? Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I'll get there, Saturn. Yeah, it's your all-time favorite. See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, and I totally get it. I know so many people that love the Alien series. Well, some people, part 3 not so much, and maybe some of the later ones not so much. But the first 2 Alien films are, holy. It's like a holy land, or whatever for a lot of fans. But hey, we'll see. I'll let you know how I feel about it. Stesio's in the house. Got Stesio. Hi, all. Driving home after a double shift. That sounds fun, my man. That sounds fun. Well, do you like what you do at least, Stesio? Do you enjoy your job? 'Cause if you enjoy it, I mean, I guess, if you enjoy doing something for a double shift, I mean, it's not too bad. But if it's something you hate, then God bless you, man. God bless you. I'm talking about the slings and arrows. Yeah, I'm fully expecting it. I'm fully expecting it. Come at me. Come at me. We got John in the house. John Wakefield. What's going on, my man? A lot of hurt feelings tonight, and some of them probably mine. Probably. Because the ones I got picked out are, like I said, kind of universally loved by most people. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you guys will agree with me on a couple of these. I don't know. We'll see. Got Steven in the house. Howdy, campers. Howdy, Steven. How you doing, man? This is perfect for you. The one guy in the chat that constantly gives me shit about my opinions is here. You're in the right place tonight, my man. Get ready. I'm prepared for whatever Steven's got coming at me. What's up, Steven? We got Robert in the house. Robert Harbus II. Hello, Alpha and all. We got Ed in the house. Ed Trader, Music and Entertainment. Good to see Ed in the house. Rise and shine. That's right. John said, I like the original Alien a lot, but I do think Aliens is overrated, though. I might agree with you on that one. We'll see. Um, yeah, I'm out of the family, Michelle. I get it. I get it. Uh, there you go. All right. See, look, we're getting in the hot takes here a little bit. Vulo's in the house. What's up, John? What's going on, my man? I was just listening to the other day your cover for the Dawn of the Dead theme that he came out. I think you recorded it some years back, but I was jamming that pretty hard. I was like, man, this is pretty fucking good. This is pretty spot on. It's on your channel. Um, but yeah, I was just listening. I was listening to your music the other day, sir. So um, I agree, Ed. The term overrated is overrated. I hate that term when people are, we're talking about wrestling, directors, music, movies, whatever. People are like, oh, he's overrated or they're overrated. And it's just like, well, if they were so overrated, how did they get to where they were? Like, people say, what's a good example of like a director or somebody like James Cameron, talking about aliens. James Cameron, people are, he's overrated. And I'm like, no, he's fucking James Cameron. Like, the dude, like, reinvents film every time he makes a movie, whether you like the movies or not. Like, it's like the episode of South Park where it's like, James Cameron has to go to the bottom of the sea to raise the bar again, this type of thing. But yeah, I've never, maybe you may, like I said, you may not like something as much as most, but I think it's a crazy turn. Yeah, I'm just not a big Get Out guy. I just never got it. Any of those films from Jordan Peele, honestly. I didn't like Us very much either. I think those are the only two I've seen. I haven't seen his most recent one. I don't even remember what it was called. But yeah, Get Out was one that like everybody was just like, oh, it's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. And I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's fine, but greatest horror movies ever made? Where? Like, where are you seeing this? And no, I don't like blood-sucking pharaohs in Pittsburgh, and most people don't either, Michelle. You're in the minority in that one. I'm sorry to tell you. So, sorry to tell you, but yeah, that movie's a piece of shit. um, yeah, I think it might. I think it might, Steven. The Omen stinks, in my opinion, says Riverman. Are you spying on me, sir? How are you getting this inside information? We'll discuss. We got Mayor in the house. What's going on, Mayor? Okay, I've got two right off the bat. I don't like the Lost Boys or Fright Night. That's interesting. I love both of those. Those are not on my list. I think both of those are fantastic. But I do know some people either like one or the other for some reason. I guess because they came out the same year, 87. So there's like I don't know, you're either on one team or another. I don't know. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I could see Lost Boys because I think Lost Boys at the time when it came out, people were just kind of like, I feel like people when Lost Boys came out, from what I've heard from some people, they kind of like thought of it as like the Twilight of the time, where they took vampires and made it like a teen movie or something. But man, Fright Night, come on, Fright Night's awesome. Come on, hey, I dig it, man. I dig it. That's what I want. Wow, Michelle's not a fan of Lost Boys either. Interesting. Saturday Lost Boys is a good movie, but that is all. It's not the greatest vampire movie. I'll agree with that. Yeah, that's an easy one. Mr. Rhode Island. What's going on, man? That's a cool name. A little zombie emoji there. Appreciate that. Mr. Rhode Island. Very nice. Saying hello. Yeah, I mean, and membership is just something that's just kind of optional. If you guys want to drop a few bucks per month to kind of support the channel, help me pay some of these child care bills that I'm amassing now that both kids are in daycare. It'd be kind of nice. But again, like I'm not asking for anything, but I think that'd be something cool just to do something a little extra on the side. Like I said, I have some ideas for some different videos and live streams and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. I got to make some more free time first. Work, like I said, work kicked my ass this week, so I got to adjust to my new position at work before I can really because I'm not going to start a membership thing and never do anything with it and just like you guys get nothing for it. Like Grande says, I'm hoping Aliens is on here. That movie is overrated. No, it stinks. What? Or Newt stinks. I thought it said no, it stinks. Man, all right. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I think everybody's ready to start swinging on this one. Piss everybody off and ask for money. Classy. Hey, that's what I do, man. That's the strategy. Eric Bischoff, of course, used to be like the head of WCW, used to have the moniker "Controversy creates cash." So that's what I'm going for tonight. Controversy creates cash. Come on. Um, Steven says this may sound weird, but a classic film that or doesn't have to be the greatest film ever made. Lost Boys is a classic film, but not even the greatest '80s vampire film. That would be Fright Night. Yeah, I think out of the two, I kind of prefer Fright Night at this point over Lost Boys, but I do have a vast appreciation for both for sure. Um, Newt is the worst part of Aliens. People laughing at Newt. Nobody likes Newt apparently. Um, oh yeah, talking about Matt's video. Yeah, incredible. Everyone has to watch it. Mantor watching. Yes, for sure. Um, And yeah, Mayor shared this with me the other day. Great piece of Romero news. Second Sight has the 4K broadcast rights to Day of the Dead. That's just one step closer to them announcing a physical 4K of Day. Yeah, Mayor shared this with me the other day. I think somebody in the Dead Pit Discord shared the image um, for the streaming rights of Day of the Dead, and it was listed under Second Sight. So I mean, that's pretty much as close to confirmation that Second Sight is doing a Day of the Dead 4K release sooner rather than later, I would say. So yeah, that's big news. Which again, I still got the Scream Factory one. I'm still excited for that one, but it's kind of cool knowing that we're getting a Second Sight one. You know, we're fairly sure of it at least. Matthew, what's going on, man? Night of Living Dead 68 in 3D is awesome. I've never seen Night of Living Dead 68 in 3D. Or are you talking about Night of Living Dead 3D? Now that's a controversial take if you're talking about that 3D version with Sid Haig. Yeah. I don't know about that one. Yeah, I just watched Matt's doc. It was great. Yeah. Yeah, it's he went above me because I knew he was working on something because he asked me if I had, any footage or anything I could send over to him, and I went through and found a bunch of footage that I shot a couple of years back on my DSLR camera when I was, just kind of going through the mall, and I sent it over to him. He was like, "Yeah, I'm working on a little something, for the Monroeville Mall and Dawn of the Dead and stuff." And I was like, okay, it's going to be just like I don't know, like a 5-minute montage or something. I didn't know what he was going to do. And then all of a sudden he's like, here it is. And it's like this 45-minute fucking magnum opus. Like literally, I told Larry earlier, and Larry agreed with me. It's one of the best videos, documentary, whatever you want to call it, on the Monroeville Mall and Dawn of the Dead for that matter. Like it's incredible stuff. Matt Blasey, what's going on, man? Matt Blasey in the house. Monroe Zombie. I saw you are at Still CityCon this weekend. I think I saw your photo with Patricia Arquette earlier. That's pretty cool. And you were actually wearing the screen used fucking wardrobe from Stigmata, which of course that's something that Blasey would have, of course. Very, very cool, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good time up there. John says, anyone else think Blair Witch is boring episode of The Real World? One of the worst horror films ever made. See, that one's not on my list. That's one that's like, that's why I always call the Blair Witch Project like the Texas Chains. And you're treading on thin ice there with, commenting about Blair Witch Project like that right after Blasey enters the room. That's the man who literally wrote the book on the Blair Witch Project. But I love the Blair Witch Project. I think it's one of the best horror movies ever made. And I tell you, you can watch it from two like various different points of view. Like for me, the Blair Witch Project, if you watch it from the point of view of just like it's just people lost in the woods, slowly losing their minds, like it works the same as if you would try to add that supernatural flavor to it that most people try to. So I think it works on multiple levels, but I've always said that it's kind of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of my generation. Like I know so many people like aunts and uncles and people that, talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're either like, oh, what a piece of shit movie. Like, oh, that's so corny and whoa, I don't get it. And then there's other people that are just like, oh, it's the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life. And that's kind of how the Blair Witch Project is for my generation. Some people, and I think a lot of people didn't like the being worked with, the wrestling term where where it's portrayed as like this is the real footage, and then it's like, oh, it's it's not. Some people are just like, oh, they tricked me, and then it just takes them out of it altogether. Whereas, like for me, I just thought it was a brilliant way to make a movie at the time. It was a brilliant way to market a movie at the time, and for a person who appreciates and loves independent cinema, like I take my hat off to that movie 100%. Like it's just incredible how they did that and what they did with the Blair Witch Project. So yeah, that's not on my list, but you're not alone on that, man. Like I hear a lot of people, like I said, it's very, um, very divisive movie for sure. Released by iPop 3D. I've never seen that. I'm kind of curious now to see what the hell that is. I've never even heard of that, I don't think. Interesting. Blasey with a hot take, The Shining. That's an interesting one too. I think most people would fall into the category of The Shining being one of those movies that is untouchable and people think as maybe outside of Stephen King, um but yeah, like most people kind of dig it. So I didn't know that Blasey's not a fan of The Shining. That's interesting. Holy shit. Um Interesting. Sarah says The Thing. It's not The Goat. Interesting. That's a hot take for sure, especially as the years have gone on. Mission Impossible 2. Okay. What's up, TPCQ Studios? Mission Impossible 2. I was never a big fan. Even when that movie came out and all the hype and stuff, and of course it had that banging soundtrack with Metallica, Limp Bizkit, and shit. Like at the time, like the soundtrack was better than the movie for sure. Yeah, I agree. Blasphemy. How can you say that? Larry says Matt Landrum's video essay kicked ass. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. Larry made sure to message me about that right after he saw it. He was like, dude, Matt Landrum's video is one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Dawn of the Dead. And I'm like, dude, I agree. Like, it's one of those things that if you're a person who loves Dawn of the Dead, if you have an affinity for the Monroeville Mall, you love George's work, it's one of those things that you want to show someone who doesn't share that same passion, that doesn't quite understand it. It's one of those things that you would show somebody like that to kind of help them understand. Because Matt does a brilliant job of laying out. Like Matt does a better job in that 45-minute video than I could do over the last 3 years doing this channel. Like he just sums it up so perfectly, and it's so well done. I can't recommend it enough. The sci-fi documentary for Blair Witch was a lot better than the film. I have that on VHS. I found it at a flea market, and yeah, it's really, really good. Like it's kind of like I said, it's a brilliant way that they marketed that movie. Just brilliant stuff for sure. And Mayor says Scream should have ended after the first film. I tend to agree. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe there could have been a sequel, and maybe, but you really start to stretch the credibility and the believability of the franchise once you get to like part 6, 7, 8, and it's just like, okay, how many more people are out there trying to kill this bitch? Like, like Nev Campbell. Like at some point, Sidney Prescott should probably just change her name and move to Alaska somewhere and just hide, like, and just avoid people because apparently everybody is out to kill her, and everyone she knows. Um, have I seen that? No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen that yet. It's interesting. I don't even know if I've ever heard of that, honestly. Don't think Halloween is all that great. Now, that's a hot take. The original Halloween. I hear that a lot about Friday the 13th now, but I don't know. Hold on. I gotta address this. I gotta say, Alex, what's going on? Hi, Car and Lil. What's up? So Lily is my cousin's daughter. She's 9 years old, and she is a big time. Yeah, she's the big time Scream Swiftie, as I was mentioning earlier, in the family. I apologize. We were talking about it earlier. We had our Easter get together earlier at my parents' house, and she was there, and we were talking about the Scream thing and the video and stuff the conversation we were having on the Revival House. And I could tell she was in the kitchen or in the dining room eating while we were talking about it, and I kept glancing over, and she was just like had daggers in her eyes for me. She was just like, "Shut the fuck up, old man. You have no idea what you're talking about." But hi, Carson and Lily. Okay, where'd I leave off? Love, Lost Boys, and Fright Night. Gosh, I'm really behind. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna speed through these. And then we'll go through some of these Blu-ray pickups that I got earlier. We'll talk about those before we start, shitting on all these great films. Or I guess we can kind of do it throughout the night. Actually, I'll let's do this. Let me hit these. Let me hit very few comments here. Michelle doesn't really care for Terrifier. Never bothered to watch the sequels. I've heard that. I've heard that from a few people. I'm kind of in that category. Like I'll go to the theater to see them just out of morbid curiosity, just to see what they do next. But yeah, as a film franchise, I'm not all that impressed, honestly. But that'll get you heat with a certain crowd for sure. G13 Zombie, what's going on, man? This is Edwin's renaming of the Scream movies: Scream 3, Sydney Goes to Hell; Scream 4, The Final Chapter; Scream 5, A New Beginning; Scream 6, Ghostface Takes Manhattan; Scream 7, A New Blood. It really does. Yeah, it does kind of follow that trend. Yeah. I'm just saying Scream 8 needs to take the page out of Wes Craven's playbook and just go the New Nightmare route. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that's the Scream that I want to see. Like, Nev Campbell plays Nev Campbell. Matthew Lillard plays Matthew Lillard, and they're all at this convention because that's the big thing now. The Scream guests are at the convention, and one of these nut fans that shows up cosplaying as Ghostface is there to actually kill the actors who portray. I mean, it fits perfectly. It's meta. It makes sense in the universe because I mean, basically, what Scream was a better version of what Wes was trying to do with New Nightmare, in my opinion. Like he was already playing with those ideas in New Nightmare, and I think Scream is where he kind of perfected it, where he kind of, really brought it to what it should be. But I mean, yeah, and then you can have the mystery of like, oh, is it one of the actors who has snapped and has really gone off the deep end? Did Skeet go too far? Did Matthew Lillard go too far? Could it be Nev Campbell? Because this is the movie that has haunted her career, ever since. Like it's the only thing she's remembered for now. I just think that would be an interesting take on. I mean, that's got to be because at some point, like, where else do you go with these fucking stories? And pardon my language, guys. I don't know if Lily and Carson are still watching, but where else do you go with these stories? It's like how many more times can you do this? But that's just hot take. Yeah, Larry's already. I saw him comment earlier. I was already threatening me. Love House, love Alien. Yeah, we'll touch on House for sure. That might be the one that I may have the most venom and vehemence for. Ed, as a Predator fan, Alien is not on my highest list. Ooh, I'm gonna piss everybody off tonight. Holy shit, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Babadook. Gotta go back. What's going on? Gotta go back. What up? That's a cool name. The Babadook, Badonkadonk. I'd rather watch a movie called The Badonkadonk. Actually, I'm kind of with you. Babadook. Yeah, I wasn't blown away by that one either. Robert, you're not alone on this one. Our buddy Will, not a fan of Jaws at all. He hates Jaws. Famously hates Jaws. It's not on my list. I think I appreciate it for what it is. It's not my favorite movie ever, but I do know it works. Personal experience, like it's still super effective and really, really well made. And maybe a hot take for some, but I actually prefer Duel, Spielberg's Duel, the film he made before Jaws. I prefer Duel to Jaws. I think Duel is a damn near perfect movie in many ways. So that may be a hot take, but but yeah, but like I said, you're not alone, Rob. There are actually people that do agree with that. Babadook. Ooh, John says Predator's overrated. I like Praying Badlands better. Ed's about to fight somebody here. Ed's never going to talk to me again after tonight. I have a feeling. There's a couple on here that I think he may be disappointed in me about. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, John. Halloween is the go. I mean, it's really overplayed. I don't like the term overrated, but yeah, overplayed is definitely for sure. And yeah, Halloween is one that I think people are just kind of wore out over at this point. People are ready for a new Freddy movie or a new Jason movie at this point. They're Michael Myers to death at this point, I think. And I think I'm on that team as well. Yeah, Lost Boys soundtrack, fantastic soundtrack for sure. Saturn Video Near Dark is actually better than both Fright Night and Lost Boys. I think Near Dark is a great movie, but I don't like it either, more than either one of those. But, I can appreciate that take. Bonnie saying, Edward, I love both RH and Phantom. Which one? I must have missed a comment here. What was Ed saying? Here's one. Okay. Rocky Horror or Phantom of the Paradise fans. No one likes both the same. I'm not a Rocky Horror guy either. I've never been able to get through that fucking movie. Just aim for me. Just aim for me. Blasey saying Aliens is great. You just watched it wrong. Yeah, that's the overwhelming sentiment. It's like, yeah, you just didn't get it. You just didn't get it. You weren't in the right headspace for it. Larry saying I saw Aliens in theater upon its initial release, and it was the most incredible theater experience I ever had. That definitely will play a role in a lot of these, because there are definitely movies where the theater experience for me like cemented it in my brain as like one of my favorite movies ever. And I like the movie as it is, but the theater experience just, took it to that next level. I bet that was a crazy fucking experience seeing Aliens in the theater. And in my defense, like Alien was not a movie I really grew up with. I guess we'll talk about it here real quick. Let me hit the chat. I just want to catch everybody. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. I want to hit anybody that's new that just popped in. I just want to say hi. Bonnie neutral on The Exorcist. We'll get to that. Yeah, okay, all right. Maybe I'm not as alone here. We'll see. Mr. Graveyard Zombie, what's going on, man? I like the last broadcast one, the best found footage movie. Yeah, that controversy with the Blair Witch Project. Apparently, some people think the last broadcast was completely ripped off by the guys who made Blair Witch. I've never seen it, so I can't say. Let me see here. Granny says, how many movies have you have on your list, buddy? I have 10 set aside right now. We'll get to as many as I want. I didn't specifically say 10 in the thing because if this goes for hell and ever, but I'm gonna get to as many as I can, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes from there. Matthew says you convinced me to buy Pet Cemetery. Cool. I need a cut of that. Whoever owns Pet Cemetery at this point. Yeah, really, John. Like Hitler didn't have as many people trying to kill him as Sidney Prescott. Ain't that the truth? That is so fucking true. We got Played Out. What's going on, Played Out? Guess I'm just a conformist. I like The Shining, The Thing, Halloween. No, I like all those too, man. Those are like 3 of my all-time favorite movies. If you go back and watch the stream I did for my top 10 favorite non-Romero's horror films, all 3 made the list. Or I think The Thing may have been like number 11, just like right outside the list there. Or no, I think The Thing was like number 10 or number 9, something like that. It was on the list, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, go back and check that out if you missed that. Coincidence Control. What's up? You don't like Alien or American Werewolf in London? That's wild. Hey, it's gonna be a wild night. See, people seem to dig the Scream idea. Mayor says Ghostface is after the actors for charging way too much for autographs, hugs, and post-it notes. That's the take right there. That's the spin. Some fan is just tired of spending $200 for a fucking photo op with these guys, and he's just like, fuck, I'm killing them all. Duel's just Jaws on land, pretty much, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always enjoyed Duel. Like I can watch Duel any day of the week, like front to back, and it's suspenseful. It's shot well. Like I just love it. I love the inner dialogue. It plays out like I think it is based off of a Matheson, either a novel, short story, something like that. I just love the way that plays out. Whereas Jaws is like one that I can sit down and watch and enjoy like maybe once every couple of years. But Duel I can watch anytime. There you go, Bonnie. Bonnie's with me. I was telling my daughter she should watch Duel. I like it better than Jaws. Hell yeah, you're with me. Cross-eyed Luigi, what's going on, man? Young Writer, what's going on, my dude? Hot takes: Jackie Brown is Tarantino's best movie. I would put it second because I go back and forth. I love Jackie Brown. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, man, like I remember watching that in the theater and thinking like, it's okay. But every time I go back and watch that movie, I like it more and more and more. It ages really, really well. But yeah, Jackie Brown is a fucking masterpiece. Um, Titanic, there's a hot take. Titanic, come on, man. Who doesn't love Titanic? Um, Rick, the North Going Llama's in the house. What does everyone who has seen Bone Temple 28 years later think? I haven't seen it. Riverman left a message in our group chat earlier saying it was available. I forget. Fuck, I can't remember where he said, but it's available to stream right now for free somewhere. Um, it wasn't Tubi or anything like that, was it? But I haven't seen it yet. Um, People love Paranormal Activity. Can't stand it. It's one that I watched once and really enjoyed it, and I've never had an urge to go back and rewatch it. But when I saw it the first time, I really liked it. I thought it was really effective because I mean it kind of took the Blair Witch idea and took it to that next level. Um, the next level, I mean by like technologically speaking. Um, yeah, Richard Matheson, extremely talented, also created a nice story. Yeah, and also I Am Legend. Romero is a huge Matheson fan, and of course he always says Night of the Living Dead. He was facetiously ripping off Richard Matheson's novel I Am Legend. So yeah, Matheson, good shit. Come on, Robert. How can you hate Titanic? Bonnie. Oh, now these are hot takes. These are hot takes, guys. Come on. What are we doing here? Larry says Duel is fantastic. Top form Spielberg. He actually took chances with interesting shots back then. Not these days. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Spielberg guy, but his early stuff, yeah. Which I just watched, which technically isn't Spielberg, I guess, but technically I just watched Poltergeist with my daughter Everly for the first time the other night. She loved it. Like Poltergeist played like a fiddle for her. Like she was all about it. Yeah, so but that definitely the whole thing with like who directed this, Spielberg or Toby Hooper, like it definitely feels like a Spielberg film, but I'm not gonna take credit away from Toby. I love Toby Hooper. Um Alex, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Die Hard, so lame. Come on. I will say I don't I do not I don't think I don't put Die Hard in Christmas movie category, and that's a hot take in and of itself, um but that's a hot one. That's a hot take for sure. Watch your back on that one. Robert says paranormal's better than Blair Witch. And Grande comes in paranormal sucks ass. Here we go. I mean, this is some back and forth dialogue here tonight. I like it. I like it. Book of Shadows is underrated. Come on. I in all fairness, I haven't seen that movie in ages, but if it was just called Book of Shadows and it wasn't like a Blair Witch movie, I think it would be like, Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, probably play for the audience a little better than it does. But when you're trying to follow something as innovative and groundbreaking as the Blair Witch Project with something like Book of Shadows, like it's just it stands no fucking chance. Yeah, Christmas based, but I wouldn't say it's a Christmas movie. That's just my opinion. All right. Let's see. You guys want to look at some Blair? Let's air out a few grievances here first. Like I said, I still have the live unboxing, some Night of the Living Dead relays. I think if it's what I'm thinking, there's some pretty rare Night of the Living Dead stuff here that I got. We can open. I got a stack of Blu-rays that I just recently picked up. We can talk about. But I think we'll go ahead and open. We'll go ahead and open the floor for my public persecution, whatever you want to call it. And I guess the big one that everybody's already talking about. We'll start with some of the big ones here first, and I'll try to defend myself. And like I said, I'm not saying any of these movies are bad or they're overrated or the love of these movies is unjustified in any way. But for me, I could take it or leave it. It just doesn't do much for me. And I guess the first one we'll start out with here is Alien. I just don't. I appreciate Alien for what it is. It's well made. It's effective in parts, but like I said, in parts. I've seen this movie. I've watched this movie 5 or 6 times at this point, to the point where like I remember showing it to my fiance years ago, and it was right after we'd seen The Thing, and she really liked The Thing, so I was like, "Oh, you'll probably like Alien. Let's watch Alien." And I remember we both kind of walked away from it, just kind of like, yeah, like it wasn't exactly what I wanted or what I remembered. Like the chest burster scene is great, the build to that is great, the suspense of it is great, but the rest of the movie is just meh ho hum. Like I don't, there's not a lot of overly memorable shit in this movie for me. But I will say, out of the entire series, it's my favorite. I'm not a fan, and this may be hot too. I'm not a fan of Aliens either. I really don't like Aliens. I love James Cameron, but Aliens just doesn't work for me, especially coming off because like I said, I kind of I like what Ridley Scott was doing with the first one. You know, a horror film set in space, which is basically what it is. You got the one, mother alien on board the ship, and but part two, it just becomes like this. It just becomes too 80s, too goofy for me. I don't even know if goofy is the right word, but you got the one liners and you got the, get your hands off her, you bitch type of shit. And of course, Ridley's in the big robot suit and then there's multiple aliens, it's like, I'm sure when it came out, it was a huge, and like I said, I didn't grow up with these movies, so I don't have the nostalgia for them like I guess most people probably do. It's just not for me. I'm just not a big Aliens guy. And like I said, I like Alien. I just don't love it. Some people act like Alien is, one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I remember watching when Bravo was doing that countdown of like 100 scariest movie moments, and Alien was at like number 2 or something like that. And I was just like, really? Yeah, the chest burster scene's pretty cool, but it's like, outside of that, like I just there's not a lot there. And Alien 3, don't get me started on Alien 3. Alien 3 was one of those because it's David Fincher. And I like David Fincher quite a bit. Like I like most of Fincher's stuff. Um, but you know, and I remember trying to go back and rewatch that with just a fresh, because I remember I watched these in succession. I watched Alien, I was like, it's good, but it's not one of my favorites. Aliens, I was like, it's just the same for me. This just doesn't work for me, brother. So I thought, well, if I don't like Aliens, most people who love Aliens hate Alien 3. So maybe if I go back and give it a rewatch with, because I hadn't seen Alien 3 since I was like really young and I didn't think much of it then either. And this was probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But I remember starting it and getting about halfway through it and realizing, yeah, Alien 3 really does just suck. Like it's just not. And I know some people kind of try to defend it. It's like, well, it's a really dark version and it's depressing and blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, yeah, but it just doesn't work for me. And I don't even think Fincher even likes it really. So yeah, Alien 3 is the worst of the worst. And then I don't even know if I've ever seen any of the other ones, to be honest with you. Like I haven't seen any of the new ones just because I'm not a big fan of the series. Um, Alien Resurrection, I remember when that came out, and I remember hearing, bad things about it then. So I never had the urge to go back. So the original trilogy is kind of the ones that I kind of consider, um, kind of all in this little box set, this little pack here. Which again, I'm talking about these movies and how I don't like them so much, but I still own all of them on Blu-ray, so I can't dislike them that much. I still think there's some cool stuff in all of them. I appreciate them and their place in history and their place in cinematic history or whatever. But they're just not for me. Even the original Alien, just not for me. So yeah, all right. Who wants to? Who? All right. Who in the chat is calling me an asshole already? Let's see. The Thing absolutely ripped off Alien. Interesting take. Interesting take. Well, if they ripped it off, they did it better, sir. In in my opinion. And I know you said Alien's like your favorite movie, so oh boy. Let's see. Stage is saying I saw Alien on a huge screen opening weekend. Awesome. You had to realize how it was back in the 70s. Nothing like that. Oh, I agree. I put it in proper perspective. But as a movie, like I think it's a good horror film or good sci-fi horror film. But it just doesn't. It's never just blown me away. Like some things. Um, Granny says, Alien, I love, to be honest. The blue collar characters and the scope Ridley creates is just great. The horrors and the lack of communication to me is actually very reminiscent of George. I can agree with that. And plus, he says you're mostly wrong about everything tonight. Mostly. Well, that's kind of what I'm expecting to hear a lot of. Larry says, I saw Alien at the drive-in theater at the age of 4, and it scared the crap out of me. It's an amazing film. One of my favorite films ever. I can watch it over and over again and love every minute. There you go. I said I'm alone tonight. I'm alone. I like Alien, but it doesn't make my top 100. Oh, God damn. I can't even think of 100 movies that I actually like, honestly. Like, that would take some work for me, I think. Judas Booth, what's going on? Everything pales in comparison to The Thing. Yeah, for me, I mostly agree with that statement, for sure. Steven says this may be the last time this happens tonight, but I basically agree with you. Oh, Steven, all right, my man. I knew you weren't, completely against me. I love the Alien itself, but I do believe this is a classic, but I think you had to be there to truly appreciate this film. I think so. I think it may be just one of those. Like I said, I didn't grow up on it. It wasn't one I remember watching as a kid. It was one that I kind of went to later in life after I'd seen a lot of stuff already. And yeah, and to me, there's so much about it that's just kind of ho hum for me. I don't know. There you go, John. John coming in with the hot takes. Never got the aliens hype, but Alien 3 is better. There you go. You're one of those trolls. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Set design, atmosphere of Alien, yeah, it's well done. But for me, it's a pacing issue for me in the original Alien. It's a little slow in parts, or something. Just something doesn't click with it. Body loves first Alien. Was 12 when it came out and thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe it may. And I remember seeing a video recently of this news station or something asking kids as they come out of Alien in the theater, what'd you think of it? And all the kids were just like, "That's the greatest thing I ever saw." Steam says Alien and Aliens is basically a cliche at this point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree, but I'm not taking that away from it. I mean, most great things art-wise throughout history have kind of been cliche. I mean, zombies are pretty cliche at this point, honestly. Look at Saturn Video, Alien 3. Okay, so there's more people. Maybe Alien 3. Maybe that was the hot take of the night. Me saying I couldn't stand Alien 3. John says the original is an excellent film. Tad slow at parts. Very good. 9 out of 10 for me. It's fair. For me, if I were to give it a rank, like if I were to put a score, I haven't even thought about this, but just putting a score on these, like I would think most people would say Alien's like a 9 or, a 9 or a 10 on a scale. But for me, Alien is probably like a solid 7. Aliens 5, 6. Like it's fine for what it is. And Alien 3. We'll go 3 just because why not? Grady says Alien Resurrection is the funniest of the sequels. I have the most fun with that one of the sequels. Well, I don't know if I want to see an Alien film and have a good laugh. Michelle, here's a hot take for you. While I love both Alien and Aliens, I'd rather watch Jason X when I want to watch a spaceship. That's a hot take. Well, that doesn't surprise me. You are the fan of the blood-sucking pharaohs in Pittsburgh here in the chat, so it doesn't surprise me. Larry, love Aliens. Alien 3 was a betrayal to the characters we love. Yeah, that was the thing about Alien 3. They just fucking kill everybody in Aliens right at the beginning of the movie. Like, the little girl's dead, everybody's dead, and it's just fucking depressing after that. It's just like, oh, Jesus. And I'm with Larry on this. I've never watched Jason X, never will. Sometimes movies dead to me. Sometimes dead is better. I'm with you on that one, Larry. Jason X is like, I'm already not a big fan of the Friday the 13th films as it is, and Jason in space, Spacing. That's what they should have called the movie, Space and X. Yeah. It says Alien 3 you saw and the one they set out to make are two different films. That's what I've always heard, but you know, I can only see what the hell they make. You know, I can't fault somebody. Like if somebody doesn't like Day of the Dead, I'm just like, well, you should have saw what they wanted to do originally. It's just like, well, it is what it is. You can't, you know, I can sit down with a pencil and paper and with every intention to fucking, you know, draw the Mona Lisa or whatever, paint the Mona Lisa. But if it, my artistic abilities, it's going to be what it is, and I can't. Well, yeah, it looks like shit, but you know, I was, you know, it was originally supposed to be the Mona Lisa, but it turned out looking like, you know, this mess. Um, so yeah. Well, nobody's called me a motherfucker yet, which I'm kind of disappointed in, guys. Come on. Plus Jason X fucking rules. That's the hot takes right here. Is fucking Blasey. Critters franchise is better, says Todd. Interesting. That's a hot take. There's a new cut of Alien 3. It's fan edit using both two versions and mixing them. Interesting. I'll never watch it, to be honest with you guys. I'll never see that. So yeah, Alien to me is one that I'm just not crazy about, guys. And the other one that I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for, and this is one that I just really don't like. And I've tried to like this movie. Like my buddy Rory, it was my movie buddy here locally. We go to the movies, and we're both into physical media. We both buy movies. He's younger than me, so he's always asking me like classic horror films and stuff that he's never seen that he needs to see. So like I'll turn him on to, you know, the good stuff. He doesn't like Dawn of the Dead though, so I don't know why I'm friends with him. But no, like he's got really good taste, you know. And he was like, dude, I think I saw maybe my favorite horror movie ever the other night. And it's a classic. I was like, really? Which one? What did you see? He's like, dude, American Werewolf in London. It's maybe the greatest, maybe my favorite horror movie I've ever seen. Like it just blew me away. And I was just like, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of American Werewolf in London, and I don't know why. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't click with me at all. Like when I try to watch, I've tried to watch it several times, and I can never get through the film without either falling asleep or getting bored or moving on to something else. Or I'm just like, eh. And I'm not really a big werewolf movie guy to begin with. Not my favorite of like the movie monsters that are out there. But there's just something about American, like The Howling I like. My favorite werewolf movie of all time is Ginger Snaps. I think Ginger Snaps from like 2000, 2001. I think that's just a fucking brilliant fucking movie, the way that they did that. But to me, American Werewolf in London, like it starts hot and then it just kind of goes off into something that I'm just not interested in. And then at the end, you get the transformation, and then, you know, he's running through the streets, and it's like, okay, then it kind of gets exciting, and then it just kind of fucking ends. He's just like, okay, that's the end. Because it's you know, how long is this movie? 97 minutes. It's an hour and a half. I mean, I guess that's basic, but it feels shorter, and it just feels incomplete to me for some reason. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me, guys. Like I don't know what it is, and I've tried to give this movie a rewatch several times where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to see what everybody is seeing in this movie. Like, especially after my buddy was like, it's the greatest goddamn werewolf movie ever, you know. I tried again, and I was just like, it's just not doing it for me. Not doing it for me. You know, John Landis directed, and I think a lot of the characters in this too, like David Naughton, like his performance, like a lot of the characters are just very vanilla characters that I'm just kind of like, I can take it or leave it. I don't care one way or the other about them. But again, you know, like I said, I do own it on Blu-ray. And it is a classic horror film from the time period. But it was just one that I've just never been overly enamored by, or really even like. So, what can I tell you? You might give me shit on this one. People still talking about Jason X. Jason X is bonkers. Goes for it, nails it. I guess. I don't know. Maybe at some point, if there's absolutely nothing else to watch, maybe I'll give it a shot. That's interesting take, Michelle. I actually really don't like the Hellraiser movies. Never seen past the first Leprechaun. Well, Leprechaun movies, I understand. Hellraiser, though, man. Hellraiser's interesting. I just recently read The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, which is what the novel that I guess it's kind of I don't know, it's a short novel. I don't even know if a novel would be the term for it. Um, but I just recently read that again. I like that better than the movies. Like it's really like it even goes farther than the fucking movie does. And the movie when it came out in '87 was, you know, pretty groundbreaking in a lot of ways. But I've always been a fan of the Hellraiser series, though. Yeah, I guess most entertaining stream ever. Yeah, people are going to be coming at me with pitchforks here soon. Torches and pitchforks, baby. There you go, Robert. American Werewolf in London is a bit overrated. Again, we're not using that word tonight. I don't like the word overrated. I think it's rated perfectly fine for where it is because the effects are fantastic. Like the transformation scene was truly groundbreaking at the time for what it did. I just think the movie as a whole is just not great. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, I did the music in it. The music in it's not bad. I'll say that. Stezio's getting a little heated over here. Never seen Ginger Snaps. Yeah, that's my favorite werewolf movie for sure. Ginger Snaps. Um, but again, it's like it's not a genre that I'm actually crazy about. Um, Bonnie will watch it anytime it's on. Yeah, you know. Judah says, agree with you there. It hasn't aged well. Great special effects though. Uh, and the scene, I mean, it's a goofy scene where he has the nightmare about the Nazi werewolves or whatever that invade the house. Like, there's some pretty gnarly shit in that scene that I kind of dig. But yeah, it's just everything else around that movie it just doesn't click with me. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I will watch Ginger Snaps over American Werewolf in London any day of the week. Like that's just me. Yeah, highly recommend Ginger Snaps for sure. The Ginger Snaps movies are great. I like the first one. I don't know about the rest. The sequels I could do without, but the original Ginger Snaps is fantastic. Larry says I've always liked American Werewolf a lot, but it does lack something that I can't describe. It somehow seems off, but I don't know why. Larry gets it. Larry gets it. There we go. I thought Larry was just going to be all night long just telling me, fucking wrong, Mike. You're fucking wrong, and here's why. I'm like, I know. Robert says, I don't know why, but the romance in American Werewolf in London kind of reminds me of There's Always Vanilla. That's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. Never put it together. But maybe when I go back for my fifth rewatch of American Werewolf in London, I'll look for that. Maybe I'll like it a little more. We'll see. Coincidence Control says amazing movie, one of the best horror comedies. Yeah, I think that's a part of it too for me. It's like the comedy really aspect of it really doesn't work for me either. I've never looked at it and it was like, it's it's a real classic horror comedy. I'm gonna crack open one of these. I don't have Iron City, so I gotta do what I gotta do here. But I got some Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Imperial Milk Stout tonight. Pray for me. I had 2 of these last night, and I woke up hungover as shit this morning. So I was. Well, I'm not gonna use the term that that some would use, but yeah, I was a lightweight. When these suckers are pretty strong, so I'm gonna just sip on that here. Todd says don't like John Landis, but American Werewolf is top G. Okay, I like some of Landis's stuff. I'm not an anti Landis guy. His comedies work for me. I just I don't know. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein has the best Wolfman. Interesting. Grande says American Werewolf in London is a 10 out of 10 for me, but I can see why one wouldn't like it. Does the comedy in it bother you? It doesn't bother me. I just don't get it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it just doesn't work for me on that level. It doesn't work for me on a comedic level at all. Blasco, what's going on, man? Crazy. Yeah, I'm being really fucking crazy tonight, guys. I'm just letting it all out. I'm putting it out there and I'm just letting you guys take your shots and tell me how wrong I am about these. Mayor says, I like American Werewolf, love The Howling. Yeah, I actually, I'll go ahead and show it now. I did get The Howling Scream Factory Blu-ray the other day, which I already had it on 4K, but I was like, I'll just sell the 4K. I'm good with the Blu-ray on this. And it was $8 or something like that, slipcover and everything. So I was like, yeah. But yeah, I prefer The Howling over American Werewolf in London for sure. I think The Howling has some really great stuff in it. So yeah, that was one I had on the pile here of recent stuff I've picked up. But yeah, I'm definitely, I guess it fits well with the motif of what we're talking about. But yeah, I'm definitely a Howling over American Werewolf in London guy for sure. It says since they had the dead friend in London, then why and Christine they cut out the car's OG owner from talking to Arnie. But yeah, London is not on my list. Okay, Ed's with me. All right, what's Steven saying? Not only is this one of the greatest 80s horror movies ever, but the special effects are still amazing even in 2026. This isn't the greatest werewolf movie ever. That would be the 41 Wolfman. So I'm not a big Wolfman guy either, honestly. Well, like I said, I'm just not a big werewolf guy. There was a guy in high school who knew I was like, into horror and stuff, and he would always try to talk to me about werewolf movies, and I'd always just be like, we'll see, man. Well, I'll check it out. Sure. He's like, oh, dude, you gotta check this out. He was all about werewolves. He's like, I fucking love werewolves, man. Like, okay. All right. Calm down, buddy. I hate to hear that, Rick. Sorry, I need to go lay down. Took a tumble this week, banged up my knees and hip, but we'll be listening. Yeah, man, no worries, man. Hate to hear that. Hope you recover quick, my man. It sucks. What do we? I like Dr. Pepper too. I dig Dr. Pepper. There's nothing wrong with that. He isn't vanilla. He's Dr. Pepper. There you go. Yeah, I'm not watching Jason X, guys, unless I'm forced to. Unless you guys, it's like a paid request. Some of these YouTube channels do paid requests. I'll do that. Then I'll give it a shot. But yeah, outside of that, I just don't have enough time. There's too many great movies on the list of shit I've never seen that I need to get to before I circle back to Jason X. But Dog Soldiers is another one that everybody used to always put over and praise to the moon that I just never could get into. Satan, not a big fan of Night of the Living Dead. Well, you can get out of here, man. Get. I've heard that before. It's fine. And you're Satan, so who am I to argue with? Lord of Darkness himself. There you go, Todd. Yeah, come on, Jason X car. Let's get real, guys. Let's get serious here. Stezia likes The Howling better. All right. Played Out says American Werewolf is fun horror in my opinion, but the initial attack was brutal. Looked like a real animal attack. I'll agree with that. The opening attack was done really, really well. I'll agree with that. It's just to me, it's like the stuff at the beginning is fine. There's the little bit in the middle it's good, and then at the end it's good. But everything else that fills that time there just doesn't do it for me. Milk Stout will give you. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. I'll save you the details, but yeah, you're kind of right about that. Robert says, not a hot take. Queens of the Dead is garbage. But having said that, I can see a good director in Romero's daughter. There you go. You got to give her credit, whether you like the movie or not. And I said that up front when I was doing my review of it. It's like some people, there are going to be people that just don't like that movie. And I get it. Like it's just not going to be some people's cup of tea. But you can't deny the fact that she's got chops, and she's got the talent for sure. G13 Zombie. I have to agree. Ginger Snaps. Think we watched First Time at Granny's. Justin, what's up, my man? American Werewolf was good for the times, but I agree. It's nothing I would rewatch. Thank you. See, we're on the same wavelength here. We're family. We're on the same wavelength here. Yeah, Ginger Snaps for sure. Robert's always preferred Howling over American Werewolf. Is that let's do something here, because this is so on StreamYards. They have a new feature here where you can do a live poll that I haven't tried yet, but let's try it. Where we're London. Let's do a live poll here and see which one do you guys prefer better? American Werewolf or The Howling? Which one do you guys prefer? There you go. So you should see a poll pop up somewhere if this is working properly. And I think you type either 1 or 2 to vote. There we go. Start and show. There we go. There's the poll. So type 1 for London, type 2 for The Howling. Which one do you guys like better? 1 or 2? 1 or 2. Type 1 or 2. We're going to take an official poll. We're going to settle this once and for all here, by God. And can you move it? Oh, yeah, you can move it around. There we go. All right, there we go. We got some results coming in early here. While we do that, let me hit Rick, $10 super chat. Thank you much, my man. I appreciate it. Yeah, get well soon, man. I hate to hear that. So where are we at? Are we all right? Tight 50-50. 50-50. London and Howling. Like I said, me personally, I'm a Howling guy out of the two. But back 50-50. So, this is fun. I didn't know if this poll thing would work or not, but it seems to be working all right. It's kind of cool. I've lost the hell out of my place here in the chat, but I think I'm right around where we were. While we're doing that, Steven, Alpha, or the Universal Horror franchise is the foundation of all horror movies. You really know. I'm getting around to more and more of those. I just recently watched the original Frankenstein for the first time not too long ago. I appreciate them, man. I appreciate them. I get them. Like I get like this movie's almost 100 fucking years old. Like this, I can see why this scared the shit out of people back in the day. All right, Howling. So maybe this wasn't such a hot take. Fuck this movie. Cronenberg cameo in Jason X. I didn't know that. All right, I think I'm back on track here. Well, of course you would say that, Robert. You're not alone, though. You're not alone. John saying 990 is good. 68's greatest zombie movie ever made. No comparison. I can dig that. It's all right. When are we going to end here? So right now, I mean, I guess the poll, I guess we'll end it here. Howling 53% to 47. It's 50-50, split right down the middle. So I guess it's about as definitive as we're going to get here, but Howling edges it out. That's interesting. I dig that. All right. I dig that. Maybe we'll play with this poll thing a little more as we go through the night. If you guys have any more, if there's more debate going on here, that's cool though. It's a cool thing about StreamYard. They're always adding some new shit. I appreciate that. All right. You guys want to get pissed off a little more here? Down there so I can get to it. There's a couple in here. Here's one that nobody has mentioned tonight. That I think you guys might find interesting. Now, I like this movie. Don't get me wrong. I like this movie. It's effective. I love the score for this movie. To me, I love the score for this movie a lot more than I love the movie itself. And to me, the movie itself, it's like it gets to about here, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go here, and it stays right here, and then it ends, and it's just like, John Carpenter's The Fog from 1980. The Fog. Carpenter's The Fog. I like it. I like The Fog. Don't get me wrong. I like The Fog, guys. I like it. Love the score. Love a lot of the actors in The Fog. But for me, like, it's John Carpenter coming off of Halloween. He's coming off of this massive success, and I feel like he's trying to match or outdo what he did with Halloween, and he just never gets there. It's like there's some good stuff in The Fog. Don't get me wrong. I love Stevie Wayne, Adrian Barbeau's a babe in it. Let's not kid ourselves. Tom Atkins, great. Jamie Lee Curtis, love the cast, love the score. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Fog score. But man, the movie itself, every time I watch it, there's always something I want more out of it. I want more out of it. Because like I said, it builds and builds and builds, and it gets to a nice point where you're just like, okay, let's take this baby over the top. Like Carpenter does in Halloween. What Carpenter does in Halloween is basically that. He builds and builds and builds, and he gets here, and then all of a sudden Jamie Lee's going across the street to check on the neighbors, check on her friends, and then it goes here. Then it takes that next step, and you're just like, holy shit, we're going. And then, you think she's killed Michael Myers, and he comes back. You can't kill the fucking shape. The Fog to me, and it's just, to me, The Fog just kind of feels like a children's ghost story or something. It feels like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like the ghost pirates in The Fog, like I always hated that. Like if it was just The Fog, and if it was just like the Fog was coming into the town and like killing people, like poisoning people or turning people into creatures or something, like that would be cool. But the fact that it's just like these pirates out for their gold, it's like, yeah, this is kind of creeping into like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark territory for me. And the ending, it just kind of builds, and it's just like, here's your gold back, and then they're just like, okay, we disappeared. And it's like, oh, that's the end. And credits. And I'm always just hanging there for more. I'm just like, that's it? That's it? Again, love the cast, love John Carpenter, love the music, love a lot about this movie. Love, Stevie Wayne on the radio. It's going down, whatever street, Vine Street or whatever, calling out to people. There's a constant race against the fog. But then it's just the fucking, it's the ghost pirates. And I'm just like, really? Ghost pirates? That's what we're doing here? So yeah, The Fog for me is just one that it's one of those movies that I just seem to not love as much as most people. So, and the fact that it hasn't been mentioned yet tonight kind of makes me think that some people are going to get kind of pissed about it. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, just my opinion. Yeah, 1980, a couple of years after Halloween. Todd, I knew you were going to get me for this one. You're crazy. The Fog is a masterpiece. See, that's that's just a term that I would not use. Like The Fog is a great horror movie. Fog is a good horror movie. Really good horror movie. That's right. I'll in the middle. Really good horror movie. But yeah, it's just something missing from it for me. Yes, that. Oh baby, that's some fire. There we go. There we go. Ed, The Fog is the boring. Interesting. I like that. It is a little like it does build, and that's my problem with it. It is that slow build that Carpenter, like some people would say, like, Halloween can come across boring at times. But it's Carpenter doing that slow build, that crescendo to that point where, oh shit, the shit's really hitting the fan now. The Fog just feels like Carpenter's trying to do that again, and it peters out. And it's just like, oh, it's the ghost pirates, and they're out there, they want their gold, matey. And it's just like, oh, all right, I guess. Matthew says, Fog rules. Grande, I'm not as big on The Fog as most. The remake makes it look a lot. Well, that's true. Yeah, I've never seen the remake, but I've heard enough about the remake to know that that's another one that I'll probably never venture to see. But okay, John says love Carpenter, but I'm with you. Never liked The Fog. All right, so I'm not getting motherfucked yet. I've only seen The Fog a few times. That's about all you need to see. Robert says, Mike, that was a perfect explanation of The Fog. I agree with you 100%. Thank you. All right, so this one's not a hot take. Apparently, everybody fucking hates The Fog, I guess, except for Saturn. I love The Fog, but it's not top 5 Carpenter. Yeah, wouldn't be in my top 5 either. Second tier Carpenter for sure. High bar. It's true. That's true. Michelle really liked The Fog, but it's not in my top 3 Carpenter movies. That's a hard one. What would be my 3? I mean, Halloween, The Thing. What would be number 3 for me? There's a lot. I mean, it's not like, oh, there's so many good ones. I love Assault on Precinct 13. Escape from New York, obviously, is a great one. They Live, it's great. In the Mouth of Madness is a great one, which I just recently finally picked up on Blu-ray, which is one of the ones that I just recently got. Yeah, I don't know what number 3 would be for me, actually. Satan hasn't seen The Fog in years. The ending, iconic. No, come on. Come on, Todd. Come on, Todd. Larry says, okay, I like it too, but I don't get the massive popularity. It always felt flat to me. Thank you, Larry. See, I knew I wasn't crazy tonight. Like some of these, yeah, I get it, but I try, Jeff. Granny says you're not big on Prince of Darkness. Yeah, that's another one that I thought about putting in on this stream, but I didn't know the real popularity of Prince of Darkness. But that's another one, another Carpenter film that I'm just not a big fan of. And I just recently rewatched that one just a few months ago, actually, and I was, left very unimpressed. To be honest with you guys. So yeah, Prince of Darkness was another one that never quite did it for me. They Live is your favorite? Hey, They Live is a very Romero-esque Carpenter film, so I'm with you there. It always worked for me. Played Out says, yeah, it's there with Prince Darkness for me. Good Carpenter, not great. I'll still watch either anytime though. Michelle says the only really plausible thing about The Fog is Jamie Lee sleeping. Implausible thing, I think, is the word you were looking for there. Jamie Lee sleeping with Tom Atkins 20 minutes after meeting him. Although it is Tom Atkins, though, and we all know a lady loves a man with a sweet stash. So, did he have the mustache in Fog? I'm pretty sure he did. I know he doesn't have it in. He doesn't have it in Halloween 3, right? But he does have it in The Fog, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Well, I can look at the cover here and actually. No, maybe he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have the stash in The Fog, so never mind. Yeah, that's just completely implausible for me. Yeah, there you go. It is. I mean, it's pretty far fetched, but it's just hard for me to imagine Tom Atkins without a fucking mustache at this point. Steven says The Fog is a decent effort, but not Carpenter's greatest. Halloween, The Thing, and even Escape from New York are all superior to The Fog. I agree. Stezio says I watch The Fog every April 21st. Not bad. Not bad. Like again, it's one I'll watch every now and then, but it's not one that I'm just overly, crazy about. It's not really the end of The Fog, but I won't spoil it in case no one has seen it. Yeah. No spoilers. That movie is only, 46 years old at this point? There may still be some people out there that have not seen it. Maybe the younger crowd has not seen these movies, so I try to keep that in mind. I don't know how many young folks are watching the Alpha Romero channel at, 11:30 at night on a Saturday, but if you are, we'll try not to spoil too much tonight. Quincy Control, I dig The Fog. It's pretty good. Landrum, what's going on, man? We've been glazing you all night long over your video. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Everybody saying hi to Matt. Yeah. They want their gold, matey. Yeah, right. SpongeBob is better than The Fog. More convincing pirates, right? Oh, YouTube keeps censoring you guys every time you keep calling me a motherfucker? Oh, okay. Well, just do MFer. MFer or, that'll work, I think. Mother effer works. So, fucking YouTube and their censorship. Dude, what the fuck? Yeah, you're just joining us. I've already shit on Aliens, American Werewolf in London, and now we're on The Fog. So, and Alien 3, but that's, just par for the course for most people, I think. Yeah, that might be my 3 too. Halloween, The Thing, and Mouth of Madness. Vampires is great. Vampires is one that I could do without. Apparently quite a few of you guys are trying to motherfuck me, but I'll try. Big Trouble in Little China, not getting love. That's another one that I'm like, it's fun, but it's not one of my favorite Carpenter films. Prince of Darkness is okay. A lot of people don't talk about it. That actually might be underrated. Seriously, possibly. It's a fine movie, but it's not one that I really go back to a whole lot or really like. Oh, so Michelle's saying that's the most believable thing about The Fog. I would 100% go the route of Jamie Lee in that scenario. Okay. You're a rare breed, Michelle. We'll just and that's right. That's right, Satan. Best stash on YouTube. Where's my switchblade comb? You ever seen one of these? You consider Halloween 2 a Carpenter movie? Carpenter wouldn't consider Halloween 2 a Carpenter movie, that's for sure. He shits on that movie anytime he gets a chance to. In the Mouth of Madness was Carpenter's last good film. Everything that came afterwards was terrible. I'm kind of in that boat too, Mayor, to be honest with you. Synth, what's going on, man? Hey, all out and about based on your thumbnail. I love American Werewolf and Alien, not House. The Japanese movie House is better. I wouldn't agree with that. The Fog is a mellow version of the Carpenter Total Package. Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. A mellow version. I just say it's a bland version of John Carpenter's usual stuff. But yeah, just my opinion. Christine, that's another really good Carpenter movie that doesn't get the love that it deserves. I think Christine is damn near just brilliant in many ways. There you go, Blasey. There's your Big Trouble in Little China love. Since you can just say House, man, we know what we know what you're talking about. Look at Synth being all fancy. Hasu, it's House. Come on. Which I guess that can lead to the next one here. This is one I'll really shit on. I know Larry's not going to be a big fan of my take on this one, but since we're bringing it up, we'll go ahead and talk about it. This is one I don't own, and I don't plan on owning it unless I find it for real cheap. And this is one that I remember watching when I was a kid and didn't really have too many memories of it. But I went back and rewatched it again just a few months ago. And House, 1985, which is one that my brother-in-law brought up earlier. We were talking about, and I told him he should see the Japanese version of House from 1977. And I was like, I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely worth watching because it's something you've never seen before. But yes, House from 1985. I do not like this movie at all. It does not work for me whatsoever. As a comedy, as a horror film, it's not funny. It's not scary. George Wendt is awful in this movie, I think. The story, it just goes and goes, and it's just, I do not like House at all. And it's one that I was like, it starts out, like when the movie starts, I'm kind of like, okay, I dig it. I'm kind of digging where this is going, but as it goes on, like I'm just like, man, I don't find this movie funny, neither funny nor scary. Like there's not really, like it's not there's not it doesn't have the gore factor in it for me really, and it's got the soldier zombie or whatever at the end, and it just, and I remember watching it, and George Wendt comes on screen. I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna take this movie to another level. Like George Wendt, I like George Wendt. Cheers, it's fucking Norm. Come on. But man, and the movie really it doesn't go anywhere. He adds nothing to the movie. Like I thought he would be kind of an entertaining neighbor character that would kind of bring the comedy to the horror comedy aspect of it. And it just never kicked into that next gear. I think I even did a letterbox. I put it in my letterbox. I think I gave it like 1 star on letterbox. Letterboxd, whatever you want to call it. What did I write on letterboxd for it? So House 77, I gave 1.5 stars. I said, I'm not sure what to say about this one. While its insanity is hypnotic and its originality is obvious, the film itself is, I just don't even know what to say. Felt like a 1970s feature length Japanese TikTok video. This may need a rewatch sometime in the future. Maybe that's one that'll grow on me. Because it is one that's stuck with me and I do think about quite often. But yeah, House 1985, 1 star. Is this a horror film? Is it a comedy? It is neither. It's just laborious and stale. I didn't even hate it. I just didn't care, which is even worse. That pretty much sums up my thoughts on House 1985. I just didn't care. I was just like, all right, when this is over, I'll never watch this again and won't even think about it. But I will, a couple months down the road, I guess, do a stream talking about it, which I didn't expect to do, but it is what it is. So what do you guys think? Because House is one that I hear some people really really dig it, and some people is what it is. They don't quite like it so much. But what do we say in the chat here? Robert, House is one of the best 80s horror comedies ever made. No. And no, I'm not a fan of the Ward, Todd. No, I'm not a fan of the Ward. I don't like Escape from LA either. You like it over New York? That is a hot take. That's an insane take, Ed. Come on. Never seen Christine. Check out Christine. The Limey 75. What's up, man? Christine is one of my favorite movies of all time. Love Christine, man. It's a good one. Satan says agree. Japan House is great. Smoke a little something and watch it. Maybe that's what it was. I watched that movie sober, stone sober. So maybe I need to go back and watch it. What do they call it? California sober. We'll do that. Brad, what's going on, man? 1911 guitar, dude. Good to see you in here again, man. Hope you're doing good. Fog's awesomeness is its atmosphere and score, but in all truthfulness, I've used it to fall asleep to. There you go. I've got to visit the lighthouse someday. I love the park. I would love to visit that lighthouse too. That's one of my go-to movie locations because that lighthouse is still there. I mean, it looks pretty much exactly the same as it did in the movie. So as much as I'm not a huge fan of the fog, I would love to visit that lighthouse though. Okay, John saying House is decent. House 2 is kind of dopey. I will never watch House 2 or House 3 or House 4 or any other houses that they've made. This was enough for me to know this just ain't for me. Mayor says I've never liked House or Hausu, however you pronounce that. Yeah, neither one really tickled my fanny. Michelle, never seen House. You might like it. You like that fucking blood-sucking pharaohs in Pittsburgh movie. This might be right up your alley. Oh, I'll forever give you shit for that. And no, that is not Bull from Night Court in the suit. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Never seen Night Court. Granny says, Love House, the soundtrack, William Catt, the story of him feeling guilt over leaving his friend in the war. I adore it, to be honest. There you go. I didn't think William Catt was good in this movie at all. Just me personally. It just nothing about this movie worked for me. I didn't like the characters, didn't like the actors, didn't like the story. It just, nah. Or says, if you hate House, we can't be friends. I had a feeling I was going to lose a couple of friends tonight over this, but that's, that's the price of honesty, I guess. But I have to be. Bonnie likes both House movies. Fun. All right, yeah. Hasu is fucking great. I thought you might dig that one, Grande. Todd says I'm with you, man. Never liked House, but the TV show is good. Yeah, I would probably rather watch the TV show House than the movie, to be honest with you. At least I could pretend that that Dr. House is played by David Emge. My parents, I remember they thought that the guy, I can't think of his name, Peter Lorre, is that his name from House? I remember they called me, I think, and was just like, "Oh, we're watching this show called House, and we think that guy from that movie you like is in it. He's the star." It's like, really? Like, yeah, Dawn of the Dead, the guy from Dawn of the Dead, he's the star of this. I was like, okay. And I checked it out and I looked and I was like, wow, that really does look like David Emge. And I had to look it up. I was like, okay, it's not David Emge, but I'm still Hugh Laurie. Thank you, Grande. Piper Laurie, Hugh Laurie, Peter Laurie, one of the fucking Laurie family. I still get tripped up to this day though, because I did I think it was like a tribute video or something when David passed away, and I accidentally used a picture of fucking Hugh Laurie in it. Because it was an old photo of both. And I was looking for it, and I was like, yeah, I think that's David. And I was just throwing it together real quickly, like before I went live, and yeah, somebody called me out on it. I was like, oh fuck, all right, sorry, it happens. But even David's family, when we were at the funeral for David, his sister came up and was just like, we were talking about David and him being in movies and stuff, and she was like, I always thought he looked like the dude from House, and I was like, yes, he does, doesn't he? Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Stezio saying I played House and House 2 at my theater. Oh, that's cool. The lobby displays I made for them were better than the films. Nostalgia keeps them in circulation. Yeah, I think that's the story with a lot of shit from back in the day. Steven says this is a fun little horror picture that I not only enjoy but would recommend for the younger horror fans out there. Not to mention Bull from Night Court is the main villain. You really are a motherfucker. Yeah, yeah. I'm not alone though. I'm not. I'm seeing that I'm not alone here. Coincidence Control says House is okay at best. I won't defend it. There you go. Stu says House 77 isn't for everyone, but I personally enjoyed it. Here we go. Here's Larry's tag. House is my shit. I like Cat as Roger Cobb. Richard Mole is great as Ben. Love the haunted house aspect with the house really being after him and his family. It's got great comedy elements to me. Yeah. I just never got the comedy in it, really. I was waiting for it. I saw George Wendt pop up. I was like, hey, here we go. This is going to kick into gear. Not so much. Yeah, Santa Claus is on this list too, guys. I'm not afraid to say it. Just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. Sorry, John Russo. Sorry. Granny says, before this, I understood your takes. House, I honestly love this. Is the hottest take of the night. Really? Okay. Even stay tuned because I got a couple more here. But let's see. Well, what's the overall consensus here? House 77 is a classic. Robert says if you don't like House, you're not seeing it for what it is. You're missing something. I feel bad for you. I'll take that. Blasey saying if you take 20 milligram gummies in an hour, Friday the 13th Part 5 is the greatest film ever. I speak from experience. That's already right up there for me. It's pretty close. Gummies are not like, yeah, the gummies would probably send that right over the top for me too. So William Cat really sells it. He's a comedic actor that I enjoy. Without him, I doubt it would be as good as it is. Sorry, Larry. I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. House was great in 85 when I was 10, but not so much now. So Limey 75. No, never seen Night Court. Never seen Night Court. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Yeah, Piper Laurie is House MD. Which Piper Laurie and William Cat both in Carrie. So there's the connection, I guess. We're playing that game. It says in House, Richard Mole was his Vietnam friend, and he was Bull in Night Court. Different actor played the zombie version of him at the end. Just fun fact for those out there. All right. I didn't get filleted for that one. I love you too, Robert. I love you too. I might get filleted for this one. This is one that I've just never could bring myself to fully appreciate until maybe a decade ago. When I was a kid, this was the movie that every adult, when they would find out that, Michael's kind of into scary movies. This is the scariest movie ever made. And I remember thinking, really? Like, okay, I got to see this. And it was one of those movies that my parents wouldn't let me watch. And my parents, when I was a kid, let me watch anything. Justin, you're still in the chat. You can attest to this. Like, our parents didn't give a shit what we watched. Like, we'd stay up at night and watch whatever. But this was one that my parents were like, well, Michael, if you're going to watch this, we got to watch it with you. You got to be prepared for this. And I remember watching it as a kid and was just like, really? This is it? Like, this is boring as fuck. When I got a little older, I watched it again and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, this is pretty killer. This is pretty good. And I like the movie now. I really like the movie now. But recently, I decided to read the book. And after reading the book, I went back and watched the movie again. And I was like, I think I like the book a whole lot better. And the movie to me now, in those eyes, it's back to like, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. And I'm talking about The Exorcist. William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin. I get it. I understand that it was a cultural phenomenon at the time. I appreciate it. And I think it's a good, well-made movie. It works. It does work. This may be a hot take, but I'm not a big fan of William Friedkin. I'm not a big fan of William Friedkin's filmmaking style. And I see it in watching this film a lot. And it's always kind of been a bugaboo. And just his editing style, the way the story kind of plays out. And over time, the more Friedkin stuff I've seen, the more I see it's a pattern for me when it comes to his films. Um, but yeah, The Exorcist to me, like watching it again here recently, especially after reading the novel, and I love like the novel was riveting, like blew me away. Like, and there was so much more to this story that wasn't in the movie, and it's like, oh shit, like this is why people read these books. I see now, and I always used to fucking make fun of people that were like, "Oh, the book is better," and you know, I find that to be true in some cases and not so true in others. Um, but The Exorcist is definitely one of those cases where the book is miles better than, and to me more creepy, more unsettling, scarier than the actual movie. Because after reading, there were points in the book where I was starting to feel, you know, you could kind of, all right, maybe I can, you know, put this down, step away for a second. Like, this is some pretty intense shit. And you watch the movie, and it doesn't quite match that same intensity to me now. Um, but like I said, when I was a kid, like I didn't get it. Then I got a little older, watched it again as an adult, and got it. I still get it. I still appreciate it. It's probably still in my top 15, top 20 favorite horror movies ever made. But I don't love it as much as some people do. And I to me, because I ended up going back and rewatching William Peter Blatty's Exorcist 3, the film that he directed, you know. And I'm kind of now at the point where I feel like I kind of like Exorcist 3 a little more than the original Exorcist. Like, it's not as innovative or groundbreaking, although you can say The Exorcist 3 was a direct influence on Fincher's Seven and those type of films that followed. I see that clearly when I watch that. I think the dialogue in it is more interesting. I love George C. Scott, and fucking anything. I'll watch George C. Scott, you know, read a fucking phone book and be totally fine for 2 hours. But yeah, watching the two again here recently, and I'm talking about within the past few weeks, going back and rewatching them, I found myself way more entranced with part three than I am the original at this point. Could change over time, we'll see. But yeah, The Exorcist. That's got to be on the list of movies that I don't love quite as much as everyone else. Um, so what do we think about that, chat? I'm gonna start a tab here. How many motherfuckers can I get for each movie, and which one, you know, which movie garners the most motherfuckers? Grant, what's going on, man? Stukas Dive is in the house. We could do anything for the most part except the show Roseanne. I don't know why, but my mom hated it. That's interesting. Which I live in Evansville, which is the home of the house from Roseanne. So if you're ever in Evansville and you're interested in checking out the house from Roseanne, it's right down there by the University of Evansville. That's our big claim to fame here. All right, let's see. Robert says there is no definitive reason to ever say a movie is the scariest movie ever made. That is subjective. Obviously, that's true. But I think at the time when it came out in 73, like people really hadn't seen shit like that before. So I get it. I get the hype for it. I mean, the movie made what, $400 million or something like that at the box office. I mean, it was a huge smash hit. Um, so I get it. But nowadays, yeah, I mean, every movie is the scariest movie you've ever seen. It's just a marketing ploy at this point. Um, John says just because you like the book better doesn't mean the original is overrated. I didn't say overrated. It's not overrated. It is one of the greatest horror movies ever. Like, trust me. Like, if let's say a Martian landed from fucking Mars on Earth and was just like, what are the what are horror movies? What are these things? The Exorcist would be one that I would say, okay, here, alien guy, here, take this, check this out. That would be on the list. But for me personally, my opinion, I'm not as infatuated with it as some people are. That's just my take. Blasey says, "Well, don't visit the Exorcist stairs with me because you may have an accident." I would love to visit those stairs, actually. Um, Again, I'm not saying I don't like these movies, guys. I'm just saying I'm not as blown away by them as some people are, as most people are, I guess. You motherfucker, The Exorcist is a masterpiece. There we go. There's one motherfucker for the board. Put it up on the board. Bonnie says, I find the book version is usually better than the movie, the exception being The Godfather. I don't even really disagree with you on that. I think both are equally fantastic. The Godfather. The sequel to The Godfather, The Sicilian, is not good. But I'm with you. I love both of those movies, or both of the movie and the book for The Godfather. Again, I need to see this in the theater. I mean, that would be great, but I've seen this. Trust me, I've seen The Exorcist like dozens of times at this point. I'm just saying, it's not one that I'm just constantly that I'm in love with. Saturn. There you go. First of all, Exorcist 3 is better. There you go. And The Exorcist isn't even top 3 Friedkin. I would say it's top 3 Friedkin. But that's just me as somebody who's not a fan of William Friedkin, really. Yeah. So it's definitely. It definitely is probably my favorite Friedkin film. But it says Linda Blair did magazines in the '80s. That was better than The Exorcist. It's a classic, but not high on my list. There you go, Ed. Jeff says, you know what she did, your fucking daughter. Oh, let's start quoting The Exorcist, guys. The Exorcist is a great story, in my opinion, transcends genre. I tend to agree with that. I think that's part of what works with The Exorcist for me too, is that it's not told in your typical horror movie fashion. It plays out more like a drama. But I'm more fascinated, and the book goes in deeper to this than the movie does, and I think that's why the book works better for me. I'm more fascinated with the idea that everybody, doctors, the mother, scientists, are trying to find a legit reason for why this is happening. And as somebody who's not religious really, and especially in a world now that is less religious, I would say, it's a harder sell for me that the solution to all of our problems lies within the Catholic Church. Although after reading The Exorcist and all that and going back and watching the movies and shit, there was a part of me that was like, I kind of feel like maybe I should be Catholic. I think God is telling me to be Catholic. Because then I started really craving fish for a while there too, and it was right. And I looked at it, I was like, "Oh shit, it's Lent. Oh, no wonder. I think this is a sign. This is a sign." So I might be turning Catholic here. I don't know, but yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Bonnie says I didn't find this Exorcist scary at all. Yeah, I can't say I've ever found it scary, but I appreciate it for just the shock aspect of it that I'm sure audiences in 73 were feeling. John says, I own both. I prefer the original. Too much science stuff that's tedious. I like the science stuff. I like that they go into every possible explanation like that they can think of before they finally just result to, okay, I guess we need to find a fucking exorcist, even though it's illogical to most of the scientific community, the doctors, even the characters in the film. but there is that feeling when the Exorcist shows up where you're just kind of like, all right, this dude's about to kick some fucking ass. Like, it's Zelda Rubinstein showing up. Back up, you jamming my frequencies, baby. Like it's that moment. Um, Todd says, not a bad take. I just started loving the movie 20 years ago. Just picked up the book too, so I'll let you know what I think. Yeah, let me know, man. Let me know. Because I really, really enjoyed the book. Really, I don't like the Godfather novel. Yeah, it's interesting. But see, to me, like the Godfather novel works, but I think the movie works just as well because the movie does a good job of taking out a lot of the unnecessary aspects of the novel. There's like a whole portion, not a whole portion, but there's a good little section in the book where it's talking about the size of Sonny's dick, and you're just like, okay, let's keep the story moving here. Let's keep it going, Mario. Since says, oh no, Exorcist 2 is going to get high marks. John Borm, no, not an Exorcist 2 guy either, but Justin said, I thought it was boring. I get why people like it, but still think it is boring. All right, there you go. See me, yeah. I don't think it's boring, but yeah, I think that's just one of those movies that we never really grew up on, really. Exorcist is not as good as it's been made out to be, says Robert. There you go. Scratch Burno, what's going on, man? You ever hear the theory Roger Avery has on what The Exorcist is really about? I do. I have heard that, and I do kind of see where he's coming from on that, especially mostly in the book. I think it's more so in the book than the movie, because like watching the movie again, it's not really there. But I think in the book, like I said, they're trying to they go in deeper on the reasons why Reagan is acting the way she is, and there are hints of that in the actual novel itself. So I think there may be some truth that William Peter Blatty was kind of talking about that, and there's some of that in fucking The Godfather too. Mario Puzo's The Godfather that they don't touch on in the movie either. About Hollywood and I don't even want to talk about it too much here, but the whole the underage girls thing. There's more of that in the Puzo book than there is the movie. The movie kind of skips around that, but the book does a better job of justifying why they leave the horse head in fucking dude's bed. Limey75, Extras 3 is the best one. The more and more I see that movie, the more I tend to agree, because that movie is fucking effective. Now, that's a movie that is unsettling, and there's some scary shit in that fucking movie. The jump scene with the nurse in the hospital, and the whole sucking all the blood out without spilling a drop thing. Like, there's some crazy shit in that fucking movie. Extras 3 is far superior than any of the other two. It has some of the best jump scares. Agree there. Steven says a lot of people lost their minds over The Exorcist back in the day, but in all fairness, for 73, it was a rough film. Before this movie, the most upsetting child movie was The Bad Seed. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like 73, this movie, there's a reason this movie made $400 million at the box office. I'm talking about $400 million in 73, which would be the equivalent of like $1 billion now. So yeah, I totally get the phenomenon that this movie was at the time. Michelle's never seen any of the Exorcist sequels. I do want to see part 3, just haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, highly recommend it. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for Todd. Larry says The Exorcist is great. I do love it, but I can't fault anyone if they don't like it as much as the others. To each his own, but I don't get the sudden love of Exorcist 3. That one just okay to me. All right, there you go. I can respect that. Wow, Limey75 really does not like The Exorcist. Wouldn't even put it in his top 50. Jeez, not that far. So two motherfuckers from one person. I think we'll count that as one. You're overcompensating for motherfuckers here. You're really accentuating your thoughts and feelings on that. Satan says Exorcist is his second favorite movie of all time. I probably could have guessed that, Satan. Robert says The Exorcist is a masterpiece, but he doesn't care. How about that? Blah, he's saying after tonight, I want a refund on my subscription to this channel, and I don't even pay anything. Well, you're not getting it, sir. Free 99. It's all mine. It's all mine. Am I putting these in any particular order? No, I'm just kind of going with the flow here. kind of what comes up, what feels right. No particular order on these whatsoever. And I really couldn't put these in order if I tried. Um, and To Live and Die in L.A., shitty movie. I do not like that movie at all. Sorry, Michelle. And yeah, Cruising is one I haven't seen yet, so that's one I would like to check out. It's scary to be Catholic, says Satan. There you go. um, Sorcerer. Nah. What crazy about Sorcerer? Sorcerer is like half a good movie in my opinion. First half of the movie is it's a real slog, but second half's fun. I'll give it that. Stereo Stupid. What's going on, man? The Exorcist scared the shit out of me as a kid. The crab walk scene was freaky, but that was in the 2000 release. Yeah, that seemed like something that they just kind of went back and added in. Um. All right. Didn't get slaughtered for that one. Got a few more here. And like I said, guys, I still have an unboxing I want to do tonight. Just got this in the mail today. Some Night of the Living Dead stuff here. So we're gonna talk a little Night of the Living Dead here in just a minute. But I got a few more here. Like I said, I got a whole stack of shit I picked up here. We'll get to one in particular I want to talk about because it's kind of funny. Okay. What about so you guys, I don't know, Landrum, are you still in here? You might take umbrage with this one, my man. But this is one that I've just never fully got. I appreciate certain aspects of it, but it's just one that I've just never been crazy about. And even going back and rewatching again here recently, it just never quite hits the mark for me. I love Lucio Fulci. I love Fulci. Some of his films are better than others. I'm not going to come out here and say, well, surprise, surprise, I don't like Zombie 3 or whatever. Like, that's not a hot take. But this film is usually pretty highly regarded amongst Fulci fanatics, horror fans in general. But it's just one that I've just never quite get. And when it's over, I'm just like, I don't think I like this movie. And it's The Beyond. Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Look, I get it. There's great effects in this. It's real nightmarish, real dream sequency stuff. I dig it. But I'll be goddamn. The story makes no sense. It ends with just like like what happened here? There's scenes in this movie that drag out for way too, like the spider sequence, the scene with the spider. It just goes on, and I'm just like, oh, okay, let's keep it going. I don't know. I love Fulci for the most part. I find even his bad stuff I appreciate, like Zombie 3. I'm a Zombie 3 guy. Like, and even if he, however much of that he actually directed, but that's usually the one people go to is like, oh yeah, Fulci had lost his mind by that point. But I hear all the time, and I say The Beyond, I bring up The Beyond because I hear all the time quite a few people say that The Beyond is their favorite Fulci film of all of his films, more so than, City of the Living Dead, more so than Zombie, more so than Don't Torture a Duckling. A lot of people will say The Beyond is Fulci's masterpiece. And I'm just not there. I just don't see it. Like, it's fine for what it is. It's a fun little watch every now and then, but I would much rather watch, like, I prefer Zombie over this movie. I prefer Don't Torture a Duckling over this movie. I prefer the New York Ripper over this movie. I prefer City of the Living Dead over this movie. I prefer House by the Cemetery over this movie. I wouldn't put this movie in my top 5 Fulci films, and then to a lot of people, especially Fulci fans, that's kind of sacrilege, I feel like, for most people. What's Matt saying here? I saw him chime in here. Don't piss off Lauren. Yeah, you guessed it. It is The Beyond. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. It just never has. I appreciate it. I appreciate the effects. I appreciate how batshit crazy it is at times. But in terms of Fulci's stuff, like it's not top tier for me. I have to I just gotta say it. Um, no, Duckling is one that I finally got around to watching maybe a little over a year ago, and it immediately I was just like, Jesus, this is like top notch Lucio Fulci. I mean, Giallo goodness, and lots of kids die in that movie. It seems so. I'm like, wow, no, love Don't Torture a Duckling. That's a great one. And I just recently got, I guess since we're on the topic, just recently found this and finally picked it up after looking for it forever. This is another Fulci film that I think is really underrated. And Tarantino's put it over a bunch, but I just recently just picked up The Psychic on Blu-ray. Who put this one out? This is Scorpion releasing version of the Psychic. Another really good Fulci film that I like, that I prefer over The Beyond. I like The Psychic more than The Beyond. So yeah, finally got my hands on that one. But yeah, I just it's fine, but it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest. Blasey says Fulci has more misses than hits. I honestly, like, Fulci did so much. I would kind of say maybe it's 50-50 for me. Like a lot of his later stuff, I'm just like Manhattan Baby. I think that's kind of where I maybe like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one. What's the other one that I saw? That was just the Black Cat. Was that the one? Yeah, didn't never really love that one. Like, I guess for me, he has more hits than misses, but I can definitely understand because it's definitely Fulci is an acquired taste for sure. Larry says this one's going to have people throwing their phones. Yeah, I mean, it's not as mainstream of a hot take as like The Exorcist or something like that, but I think for hardcore Fulci fans, hardcore Italian horror fans, like, you know, people love The Beyond, and I've just never been as fascinated with it as most people, I feel like. Granny says, "Oh, all right, The Beyond is overrated. I agree. I'm so relieved you didn't say Duckling." All right, Grande's with me on this. I'm kind of surprised at that, Grande. But yeah, it's just, and again, like I said, I own it. I have, the box set here, but it's just not one that I'm like just overly fascinated with. That's all. I don't hate it. It's fine, but you know. Michelle says, "I will say you're keeping me awake by making my blood pressure spike. The Beyond is my favorite Fulci." There you go. That's what I'm here for, Michelle. I'm here to keep your blood pressure at an all-time high. That's the point of this stream tonight. To piss people off. John says none of his movies make sense. It's all about the gore, and The Beyond had the best gore. Interesting take. I've heard that take before. Some people say Fulci's films don't always land the narrative aspect of it. Sin says, to be honest, The Beyond is a mess. Sort of kitchen sink movie. That's a good way to put it. It really is. To me, I've always kind of had that feeling when I watch it. It's like it's impressive. It's fun to watch as a horror film, but yeah, it's a bit messy. It's a bit messy. Satan says, I like The Beyond, but I get why people don't. Edward says, that's two mother daters for you. Go date your mother. The Beyond is great. All right. There's a mother dater. I'd put that on a separate sheet over here. Grande says, I'm 100% with you. This is not his masterpiece at all. Thank you, Grande. Thank you, sir. I knew we would line up somewhere on here. Stereo Stupid says, I was very unimpressed with The Beyond. It sucks. So he went from unimpressed to it sucks. So there you go. Yeah, it's a fun little watch, says Jeff. It's a fun little watch. Todd says Beyond is good, but I would say Zombie and New York Ripper 1 and 2. I think New York Ripper is very underrated, actually. I think that's one that I every time I watch it, I like more and more. I think it's just got that sleaze factor that I appreciate. Matt says the story doesn't make any sense because there really is no story. From my understanding, the film was written around specific scenes that Fulci wanted to film. Not the best Fulci, but I do love it. So there you go. From our Fulci fanatic himself, the man who has a dog named Fulci. He's coming in here saying, yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. That's okay. Shell says, okay, you're a motherfucker now. Picking fucking Bob over The Beyond, I'm disowning you. Hi, I'm Bob. It's not that little kid's fault, man. They had to overdub that shit, and they probably, they. From what I understand, I think it's more expensive to hire a kid to do the overdubbing, probably. So they probably just went with, some woman to do a kid's voice. That'd be my guess. Larry says, as for Fulci, I like Zombie the best. Second tier would be The Beyond. The imagery just totally kicks ass. Does have some good imagery. Does have some great imagery. I'll give it that. What is, I guess my favorite, I guess I'd have to say Zombie is probably my favorite Fulci film too. Really dug Duckling. Really dig City of the Living Dead. I do like Zombie 3. Sorry. But yeah, I think Zombie for me is just the one that I go back to the most easily. Steven says, as much good as there is in The Beyond, I actually understand your criticism. If I remember correctly, there were budget and studio issues with this film. I don't hate this film, but it's not as good as Zombie. There you go. Matt, I'm just gonna drone. Matt, The Beyond had one of the first graphic kills that shocked me outside of Day of the Dead, the Jill character getting blown through her head. Yeah, that is, although, it is obviously a fake head, but that's part of it. Like same thing with the psychic when the woman jumps off the cliff and her head bashes against the rocks. Like it's obviously fake, but that's part of the charm for those Italian films from that time period. To me, like that, like to a lot of people, I'm sure it's a big turnoff, but for me, that's part of the charm of it. Yeah, man, you got to check out Fulci. Like, it's definitely an acquired taste, and I will totally understand. I totally get people that say they're not Fulci people; they just don't get it. I totally get it. I totally get them. Definitely an acquired taste, that's for sure. But yeah, you got to check them out, man. It's horror history, Lucio Fulci stuff. Granny says, really enjoy his Jolly, Lizard in a Woman's Skin, one of the one on top of the other, the Psychic, Duckling, all tremendous. Yeah, Granny and I align on Fulci's Giallo, particularly Duckling. Fulci Brothers for life. There you go. Yeah, New York Ripper's the one with the duck voice. The guy on the phone with the duck voice. I always dug that movie, man. Every time I see it, like you just feel dirty watching it. Like the scene in the bar with the guy and sticking his toe up the woman's snatch, and it's just like there's something even like more so than like any of the gore or anything in the movie. Something about that scene always just makes me overly uncomfortable. Great Bob impression. It's not hard. You just gotta, hey, mommy. There you go. There's my new nickname tonight, Motherfucker Mike. That's what I'll be, Motherfucker Mike. Here to piss you guys off. Here to keep your blood pressure high and keep you awake here on this Saturday night. So I got a few more here. Some maybe more controversial than others. I'll mention these since I heard these were since I saw these were mentioned earlier. Hot take. I've tried to love this movie. Ed, I'm sorry, my man. I know you may never talk to me again after this. But I'm just not a Predator guy. I love Schwarzenegger. There's everything about this movie I want to love, but every time I watch it, I always leave. It always ends, and I'm just like, I just don't. I think that the build in Predator is one of the best builds of any of Schwarzenegger's films. One of the best action builds. I mean, you got this helicopter full of like this group of just badass, like the best of the best military guys. Jesse the Body Ventura, being the baddest of the badass. Schwarzenegger. You got every character that is building up to this idea that these are the elite of the elite. So if there's a predator out in the jungle, like he's going to struggle again. Like this is going to be a battle. And then they get to and then there's the action scene where they're all the shit's blowing up and all that. It's great stuff. They discovered the skinned bodies hanging from the trees, and that looks awesome. And I don't know if this would count as horror, but to me, it always kind of was in that action horror genre. And it's Schwarzenegger. I grew up on Schwarzenegger was like my first hero when I was a kid. Love Arnold. You know, most anything with Arnold in it, I love it. But it's just once it gets to the point where you got Bill Duke with the razor. Once it gets to the point where they're all getting picked off one by one, and without much fanfare, really, it's just kind of like, oh, he's dead. Sonny Landham, he's dead. Uh-oh. And it's like, and Arnold's the only one left. At that point, the movie kind of loses me. And the only thing that you really need to do to hide from the predator is smear mud on you, and he can't see you. And it's just like the first half of Predator, the build is great. Love the build. Second half of Predator, it just kind of peters out for me. Hot take, I'm sure, but it just is what it is. I've come to terms with it because I wish I loved this movie more than I do, but it's just not one of those movies that I go back to often. And it's John McTiernan, who, Die Hard. He ended up doing Last Action Hero too, right? Which I like Last Action Hero. But I see Robert commenting there. Last Action Hero is his favorite action movie. Yeah, I'm a Last Action Hero guy. Always have been. Even when everybody shed on that movie, I was like, that movie's fucking brilliant. But Predator is one that I've just never been crazy about. So when Alien versus Predator came out, you guys can imagine how disinterested and never seen that movie, never will see that movie probably. Any of them, because they've made like 20 of those at this point now. So yes, my apologies, Ed. I know you're a big Predator guy, but just never quite worked for me. I'm sorry. If you want to love it, then love it. I can't lie to myself, man. I'm brutally. I try to be brutally honest with myself, man. Like it's just like, and all of these movies are movies that I've tried to convince myself over the years to just love, just because it's common knowledge that these are great movies. But inside, they're movies that I'm just like, yeah, but I don't really love them though. I like them. I appreciate them for what they are, but they're not like high on my list of, my favorite movies. Ain't got time to bleed. Yeah. Although this does have a great quote, "If it bleeds, we can kill it," which is the name of a song that a band that I was in back in the day when I was the songwriter singer, and one of the one of the titles of the songs that we did was called "If It Bleeds, We Can Kill It." Had nothing to do with Predator or anything, but I just thought that was a badass line. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Predator is just great. Love it. I agree. All right. I mean, I agree with everybody's sentiment. Everybody loves Predator, but old fucking motherfucker Mike here, 10,000% can't stand Predator. All right, Satan. I knew I had Satan on my side. See, you can do anything when you got Satan on your side. Steven says blasphemy. Oh, you'll smoke a turd in hell for that one. Hey, me and Satan will be smoking a turd in hell together. All right. Stadio says you need to get in the chop on this one. Classic. Yeah. Get to just quotable lines left and right. Michelle says that was how I felt about the Commando. Really wanted to love it, but I just don't get the hype at all. Do you love Predator though? See, I love Commando. I can watch after I get off stream tonight, I can go watch Commando and just be loving every second of it. But Predator is like, I can do without it. But Commando's just pure 80s action cheese greatness. Don't bother my friend. He's dead tired. You want great Arnold one-liners. Commando is the king of great Arnold one-liners. Granny says Predator is so much fun. Pure testosterone, long tall Sally, great direction. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about it. There's a lot I like about it. Like I said, the characters are fantastic. Love all the actors in the movie, but like once the Predator starts wiping them out one by one, it's just kind of like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I like the characters and the actors so much, I don't want them to get wiped out so easily. I want Jesse the Body to put up a fight. I want Sonny Landham to put up a fight. Bill Duke to put up a fight. And it's just like, well, it's just Arnold. Arnold's the last one. He's like the ultimate, which I guess, you can kind of buy into, but I don't know. Never seen Prey. I've never seen Predator 2, to be honest with you guys. So, Bonnie, oh my god, Predator, such a fun movie. Yeah. Bring it on, bring it on. Loving Predators like breathing. It's easy, says Matt. Yeah. It says, "Don't worry, I grew up a Black Sabbath fan in Arkansas. I'm used to my faves being belittled before me." I'm not belittling it. I'm not saying it sucks or it's awful, and I'm not saying, "Oh, you're all stupid for liking it. What are you thinking?" Like, I get it. I totally get it. But just not my favorite. Just not my favorite. There you go, Satan. Doesn't like Alien either. All right. Shane Black, yeah, he's great in Predator 2. Yeah. All those characters are great. Last Action Hero, love Last Action Hero. Bonnie says, I have a great memory of watching it with a bunch of friends. Yeah, I think, like, again, it goes back to the memories that you make with some of these movies will definitely add to it. Uh, you shit house rat. There you go. I'll put that on the board as a motherfucker. If you're calling me a shit house rat, I'll take that. Since this Predator is pretty complete, action sci-fi, great Winston effects, yeah. And it wasn't it Jean Claude Van Damme? Wasn't he the Predator in some of those scenes? I think. Great score, iconic characters, fun roller coaster ride. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. Michelle says, I barely slept last night. I've been awake for 21 hours, but these last two have me wide awake. I might have to take an extra blood pressure pill tonight. There we go. That's my goal. I'm gonna give somebody a heart attack tonight. Hey, Bonnie likes The Happening. You know, Bonnie, I kind of like The Happening too. It's okay. It's okay. I'm right there with you. There's something about that movie. It's goofy as hell, but there's something about it. I've always kind of liked The Happening too, so I'm with you. Uh, yeah, come on, you gotta love Commando. Yeah, Predator's even Big Daddy's favorite. Keep that love burning high, guys. Come on. Uh, there you go. There's a dead pit call out. Robert says, Mike, love the stream, but don't lose your focus. Stand with Romero in the future. Hey, I'm here. I'll always be. And like I said, I got some Romero stuff here. We'll dig into here in just a second. Like I said, I got a few more of these that I'll talk about. I'll keep the hot takes coming. Let you guys keep motherfuckering me, and then we'll keep rolling. Alex, Puppet Master is trash. I know certain people that might argue with that. Never been a big Puppet Master guy myself, but there may be somebody out there fairly close to you that will vehemently disagree with that take. So watch your back is all I'm going to say. Matt says, thanks for entertaining me and buddy on the drive back from Monroeville. Gonna kick back and watch a movie you've watched wrong. Well, there you go, man. Take your pick and come back next week and tell me all about it. Tell me how much you enjoyed it and how stupid I am. Larry says, Synth is absolutely right about Predator. All right. Ed says the OG script has Sonny and the Predator having a long fight, but it was cut down, just him screaming, so they did have more of a fight, like you were saying. Well, it needed that, damn it. That needed it to me. You know, it's funny you say that, Matthew. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Never been a fan of either one of those, honestly. The original or the remake from the 70s. Never been huge into either one of those either. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, Stezio saying Kevin Peter Hall was Predator. John Claude Van Damme was originally cast in a weird lobster suit, but was replaced. Footage available on YouTube. Okay, there you go. I always heard that about that's probably the best use of Jean Claude Van Damme. Honestly, just put him in a big suit and have him do his thing. I'm not a Van Damme guy. Sorry. Yeah. Phelps is probably a Puppet Master guy too. Yeah, more than he hates baristas. Starbucks baristas specifically. Can't get his shit right ever. All right. A few more here. Maybe these are, I got one that I think is going to be pretty controversial. Then I got a couple here. Maybe not so much. Harkening back to Carpenter and Halloween. Um, People always talk about this movie and they're like, "Oh, it's a great Halloween sequel. I love this movie. This movie, it captures the spirit of Halloween and all this." But every time I watch this movie, it gets worse and worse and worse. And I tried to watch around Halloween time. I tried to watch it because I bought the 4K, and I was like, okay, give it another shot. And it looks awful on 4K. I mean, this movie looks like shit. The dialogue is. This is one that I will say I do not like, and I will make no bones about it. But Halloween 4, I don't get why people like this movie. Like, this is, to me, Halloween 4. It's not as bad as Part 5, but it's like right there with it, in my opinion. The mask looks awful. The dialogue is awful. You got Danielle Harris saying, "You love me like a real sister." Like, there's no chemistry there. I don't like where this movie goes. I do not like Halloween 4 whatsoever, guys. Um, and again, it's one that everybody always talks about. It's like, oh yeah, well, all the Halloween movies went to shit after 4, and I'm like, no, they kind of went to shit. Like, not counting 3, they kind of went to shit after the first one. Like, Halloween 2 is fine, but unnecessary. And even Carpenter will say, like, it's pretty unnecessary. The only reason he did it is because he's contractually obligated to do it, and he had to just drink himself into a stupor to write the screenplay for it. It's a fine little. They turn it into your basic slasher, and Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie in a weird wig, just wandering around a hospital. I don't love Halloween 2, but it's fine. It works. Halloween 4, though, awful. It's not. It's not a good movie. I'm sorry, guys. It's not a good movie on any level. The guy who plays Michael Myers, George Wilbur, he's like this short, stocky Michael Myers. Like, it doesn't work. Daniel Harris is not good in a movie. The characters, you care nothing about any of these characters in this movie, whether they die, whether they don't. You know, I I don't get it. I know it was a big success when it came out in '88 because people were up in arms. They were like, "Fuck this series," because Halloween 3 didn't have Michael Myers, and fuck that stupid movie. And I love Halloween 3. Like, that's one that, like, Halloween 3 to me, like, kind of stands alone in terms of, like, the Halloween sequels. The rest of the sequels going forward, and this will kind of go into my stream that I'm doing with the Revival House guys coming up next Friday, where we talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween. Like, the Halloween sequels in general are just generally not good. Like, Halloween 2 is okay. Halloween 4 is awful. Halloween 5 is even worse. Halloween 6 is, awful. I don't even know what the word for Halloween 6 is. It's a fucking mess. Halloween H2O is tame. Like, it's fine. Halloween H2O is the one where I like what they did with the Laurie Strode character more so than anything. I think her character works well in H2O, but the movie itself is pretty fucking tame and just, it's got a great ending. Resurrection is unwatchable. So when people always say, like, "Oh, Rob Zombie ruined the Halloween series with his bullshit," I'm just like, what did he ruin? And I'm sorry. I have a tattoo that I don't regret, but it is one that I'm just like, looking back on it, like, I probably shouldn't have got it because I don't like these movies at all. But I do have the Mark of Thorn tattooed on my wrist. So, no, all right, I take it back. These movies are great, actually. That was the first tattoo I ever got, guys. When I turned 18, before I let my buddy, who was an apprentice at the time, do my Dawn of the Dead tattoo, I let him do the mark because I was really into the Halloween series at the time, and the Mark of Thorn just seemed like something kind of simple and cool that he could, practice with and do. And now and people say, like, "Oh, you're a big fan of Halloween 4 and 5 and 6," and I'm just like, no, not really. So yeah, well, I guess I have to own that for the rest of my life. But yeah, I just 4, 5, 6, they're all bad. 6 has some stuff in it that's kind of cool, but yeah. That the mask in Halloween 4 may be my least favorite. 4 and 5 both are pretty bad, but the one in 4, it just looks like a cheap, like, who fucking put that mask together? And the mask on the cover looks awesome. But then when you watch the movie and you're like, well, that's not the mask that they're advertising to people. Um, all right, let's see. Where are we at here? Got some Body Snatchers love. I figured that was probably the case. Satan, I don't like Bloodsport either, my man. Hate to tell you. Alex saying that's the one where the mask looks like Mariah Carey. It's an interesting way to put it. Stezio says, Mike, brother, you have erased all of your motherfuckers from me. All right, Stezio's with me on this. All right, we're erasing the motherfuckers. Stezio says it's okay. All right. Michelle says, I'm not a Halloween 4 or 5 fan. They're the worst of the series, along with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I respect that. I respect that take. Grande says Halloween 4 is the last good Halloween. See, people say that shit all the time, and I'm like, what's good about it? It sucks. It looks like shit. The dialogue is awful. They bring back fucking Dr. Loomis. I love Donald Pleasance. They bring back Loomis after they blew his ass the fuck up. Like, that old man did not survive that fucking blast. It's like, all right, so you have this unkillable, you know, death incarnate, Michael Myers, the Shape. They blow him up. Okay, he's not dead. All right, I get it. But he's wrapped in bandages and he's been docile for 10 years or whatever it's supposed to be. But Loomis, in the same exact explosion, just has a few scars on his face and he's just like, you know. Okay, whatever. I guess you got to bring back Donald Pleasant somehow. I don't like this movie. Sorry, Grande. I think they've tried to recapture it, what it did nearly 40 years, and they never will. No, there's nothing to recapture. There's nothing to recapture. I will watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 every day of the week, twice on Sunday, as opposed to watching Halloween 4. No, sir. And the way they kill him, he falls into a fucking hole or I don't know. It's even worse in 5. He falls into a river and he floats down the river and then is nursed to health by a homeless person don't get me started on this series, guys. I love the Halloween series. Don't get me wrong. I love Halloween. The movie Halloween is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. But the series itself, they just took it in directions that it just did not need to go. So not a fan of most stuff after Halloween 3, contrived and dopey. Amen. Larry says, I was wrong, but I agree. Not a fan of Halloween 4. I can only dig Halloween 1, 2, and 3. Fuck all the rest. Kind of with you there. Although H2O, it's fine. I have a bit of a nostalgia for that because that came out right around when I was like 10 years old, and that was huge at the time. And as a 10-year-old kid who loved horror, it was fun to watch when I came out. And like I said, I like what they did with the Laurie Strode, much more so than what David Gordon Green did with the Laurie Strode character by making her some crazed cat lady in the woods, with fucking jars of piss on her windowsill. Like, no, like, and taking away some of the trauma from the backstory. Like, well, it actually ended after part 1. It's like, okay, well, surely she could get over, like, she's a strong enough character that she could get over a couple of her friends dying on Halloween night. Surely she can get past that. And especially if it was just a random act of fate and it's not, she didn't have some long lost brother that was, coming after her. Whereas in like Halloween H2O, she's a strong female lead woman character. She doesn't need a fucking shotgun to fend off Michael Myers. She's a strong, she's a successful teacher, administrator for a very prominent school. She has a son, and yes, she struggles with it, but she deals with it like any normal person would by picking up the bottle. But she's still like together. She's not crazed in a fucking house in the middle of nowhere. I fucking hated what they did with her in the that 2018 Halloween. But in H2O they did fine. That's my rant on Laurie Strode character. Anyway. No worries, man. We're here partying on a Saturday night. I'm trying to catch up. This is a strong one. This is a strong beer. Shout out. 12% alcohol in this. Probably why after 2 of these last night I was pretty cooked. And I was drinking them while watching Matt's video on the mall and Dawn of the Dead. So of course I was like half lit and crying a little bit as I was watching it. I was just like, oh man, what a combination. Michelle said I'd rather see Busta Rhymes in a karate match with Michael Myers. No, don't get me started on that shit. And yes, Alan Howarth does a great job with the score for the Halloween sequels as well. Can't take that away from him. Satan says Halloween franchise is overrated. Robs are the best. There you go, Satan. I knew you. I knew you there. It says, yeah, I don't like 4 and Beyond. Halloween to me was 1, 2, and H2O. I think that is a perfect trilogy, honestly. If you watch it, 1, 2, H2O, and the way that H2O ends is the perfect ending to that story, I think. No spoilers for the youngsters out there that haven't seen it yet. Bonnie says first Halloween's best to me. H3 is great so long as you don't expect to be a sequel. Love it for being its own thing. I agree. H2O is like Scream. Yeah, H2O is definitely inspired by the Scream popularity of the time for sure. Limey75, Halloween's a masterpiece. The sequels jumped off a cliff and fell quicker than a wet turd. Couldn't have put it better myself, my man. Yeah, well, we're gonna be talking about it over on the Revival House this Friday. Come join us, guys. It's gonna be an interesting conversation. Granny says Ellie Cornell is awesome in H4. Disagree with that. I don't like her at all. Love the fall vibes in the scene with the old man and Loomis in the truck talking about damnation. It's always got a face and a name. I gotta disagree on this one. That's cool. That's fine. That's cool. I know a lot of people always love the opening credit sequence. I think that works fine. I'm fine with that. But yeah, the movie as a whole. Stereo Stupid says, I don't hate 4. It's nostalgia for me. However, under a microscope, I do happen to agree with you. The mask is absolutely fucked, and the shoulder pads look absolutely ridiculous. The lighting is trash. Yeah, I mean, it looks bad. It looks bad. Waxwork. I've never seen Waxwork, actually. It's not a bad idea, Silver Shamrock tattoo. My next tattoo is going to be the Martin razor, though. The Made in USA razor blade. I was thinking about getting that here soon. Steven says there's a simple explanation why I and millions of people like this film. Michael is back. Disappointment of 3, although it's actually a good film. Overall, better than 4. Yeah, but I mean, it's a fucking, yeah, okay, it's a gimmick. Hey, we got Michael back. Yeah, but you blew his ass to shit in part 2, and now all of a sudden a few bandages later, and he finds out he has a niece. He's like, oh, I gotta kill the niece now. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It doesn't work for me at any level. You're right, Ed. You're right. I just need dumbass right next to it. Larry says Halloween Resurrection is another movie that I'll never watch. Same with Kills and Ends. I recommend Kills and Ends. I don't like 2018. 2018 is awful. Kills is like fun because it's like self-aware that it's kind of a bad movie, but Ends, bravo. That's a hot take too. I'll throw out there. I'm. Where's my shades? I should have turned heel tonight. I haven't turned heel in a while. I dig Halloween Ends. Yeah, Shatner mask is the best. I don't know why they couldn't just redo that mask. It's not that hard. You wouldn't think. Yeah, a lot of a lot of back and forth here. Kidmon is the only good thing about Halloween 4. It's not just the mask; it's the overall vibe. See, to me, it doesn't have a good vibe either. It feels cheap. Like the look of it, the feel of it, it just feels cheap. Don't get me started on part 5, man. Granny says 2018 is the worst one. I blame that movie for every bad requel we got since then. Amen. John says, I love Ends. It's the best since Halloween 2. At least they tried to do something different for a change. Amen, sir. Amen. but I totally get why people don't like that movie. But so Halloween 4 is on my shit list. That's one I just really don't like. This is one that people love, people talk about all the time, and I appreciate it. It's not a bad movie. I'll watch it. I can appreciate it. I can enjoy it. I won't go into too much detail on it because it's just one I'm not super passionate about one way or the other. And I think that's the problem with this movie is I'm not all that passionate about it. Where it's just kind of I can take it or leave it. And I have the collection here, but The Omen. Somebody mentioned it earlier. The Omen, the original Omen. The sequels, I don't know if I've ever seen any of the sequels, honestly, and I think that speaks to how I feel about the original. The original is a fine, populous horror movie. It's well made. It's got some good stuff in it, don't get me wrong. But it's just one of those movies I don't give a fuck about. Like I said, it's not one I can really go. I can't go as hard on this one as I can, like Halloween 4 or something like that. But it's just one I don't really care about. It's just is what it is. Like it's just like okay, yeah, that's what I was. To me, it falls into that same category. Although I like The Omen a little more, it falls into the same category for me as like the Amityville Horror. The Amityville Horror is like one of those movies that, it's there. You know, it gets referenced a lot. It's a classic horror film. Everybody knows the Amityville Horror, but to me, like as a movie, as a horror movie, I can take it or leave it. The Omen's kind of the same thing for me. Like I can kind of take it or leave it. Like I said, I can't really speak on the sequels because I haven't really watched a whole lot of the sequels. But I don't even know if I've ever seen any of the sequels. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I own the whole collection here, but I've only ever watched the first one out of this bunch. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, The Omen's just one that I'm like, take it or leave it. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I'm not here to critique it. I'm not here to say it's shit. But it's just one that I just don't, as the title says, it's one that I don't love like everyone else seems to love it. You guys dig The Omen? Grenade The Omen? Well, I didn't see that coming. Well, somebody mentioned it earlier, so I didn't know if it was as hot of a take as maybe some of these other ones. And like I said, it's not one that I dislike or one that I'll like actively avoid. I mean, obviously, I've got the whole set here. But it's just not one I think about very often. It's not one that really sits with me. It's one of those movies that I own because it's a classic horror film from the 70s. It's well made. It's iconic in a lot of ways. You know, the iconic scenes, you know, where David Warner gets his head cut off. Great scene. Of course, the nanny hanging herself. Damien, it's all for you. It's all for you, Damien. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. I get it. But it's not one of my favorites. It's probably not in my top 20, top 25, probably. I can probably think of 25 other horror films that I like better than The Omen. But that's just me, you know. Satan, OG Omen is a classic. I'm sure Satan would be a big fan of The Omen. It's about your boy. It's about your boy Damien, Satan. Grindr says I fucking love The Omen and The Omen 2. I'll have to check out The Omen 2 because, like I said, I'm not sure. I feel like I've seen at least The Omen 2 before, but it's probably been a good 25 years. It's probably during that period where when I was a teenager, I would go to like the local. Our mom and pop video store at the time was called All American Video. We had two of them. We had All American Video and we had Star Video. And there was a period there where there would be like, rent 5 movies, keep them for 5 days for $5. And I would just go and just rotate movies in and out, one after another. And I probably did grab probably The Omen 2. But again, it was just like never a franchise or a series of films that I was ever like truly like taken by or blown away by. I remember watching the original Omen and was like, wow, that's really good. I'd like dig that. But again, it's not one I really go back to very often. All right, motherfucker, on the board. The Omen has my favorite decapitation scene. It's great. That is a good decapitation. Now, if there was a list, if I was doing a list of my top 10 decapitations in film, I'll probably be up there with it. It's just the way that it was shot. It was really well done. Um, Larry says the first Omen was great. The sequels are forgettable. Not sure I'd ever go back and watch them, but I can watch the original anytime. There you go. Stigio says never been a big Omen fan. Have the box set, but don't know when I'll watch them again. That's kind of how I feel. I have the box set, but I don't find myself reaching for it very often. That's for sure. Granny says, "Are you not into Final Destination? The death scenes in The Omen are very reminiscent of." I love Final Destination. The first Final Destination. The sequels, fuck them. The first Final Destination I thought was genius in a lot of ways. Probably like Final Destination more than The Omen, actually. That might be sacrilege for some people. But yeah, I've never really thought of it that way. But yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah. Bunny says, "I guess The Omen is great. Love it. Amityville is okay. All right. I guess I haven't been motherfucked by Bonnie yet tonight, and that'll be the true tale. That'll be the true. Which I have one more here on this list. It's not really a list. It's just a compilation that I might get the rare motherfucker here in a minute. Flatliners I've seen once, and I don't remember much about it honestly. Since says that trilogy is fun but not great. I did see The Omen as a little kid in the theater, and was a combo of liking it and freaking out. Very dark and violent. Be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool to see in the theater when it came out. Because that was another that was kind of a big deal when it came out too, kind of like The Exorcist. Limey75 says the Omen movies are a great horror trilogy, especially the latter two. There you go. Right. Other than David Warner, The Omen is meh. I do like David Warner. I heard that too, actually, Satan. The Omen prequel that came out not too long ago. People were ready to hate that one. That different podcasts and YouTubers and stuff that I watched, they were ready to hate it, but they all kind of universally were like, "Yeah, I was actually surprised. It was actually pretty good." So that might be one I might be interested in checking out at some point. Just says same. It's just there. That's one that's one that I think they could use a remake. Maybe bring in the modern day. Yeah, possibly. They did do a remake of it though, didn't they? Yeah. 'Cause I remember I went to the theater to see it and I thought it was horrible. I thought it was really shitty. But that was like 20 years ago when they did that remake, probably 2006, 2007, something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. The remake, yeah. Now I'm thinking, I forgot all about that fucking remake. Wow. Bonnie says I do not like the Final Destination movies. They give me insane anxiety. I cannot watch them. Well, it's kind of a good thing, Bonnie. I think that's kind of the point. It's kind of doing its job. Steven says, I do dig the Omen films. The first one is the best one, but 2 has a great performance from Lance Hendrickson, and 3 has adult Damien running for president. Pretty good trilogy overall. Yeah, there's a book that's like a sequel to Rosemary's Baby. Can't remember what it's called. It's not very good, but it kind of follows that same formula, where Rosemary's Baby, Andy grows up and he's like this hugely popular cult leader or whatever. So that's probably where that was taken from. Yeah, the book was from like the early 90s, I think. It was well after the original, which the original Rosemary's Baby book is fine. It's one of those where like the movie is better than the book, I would say. And yeah, I'm kind of with you, Stacey. I'll take Rosemary's Baby 1,000 times over The Omen. Absolutely. Changeling. Yeah, I like Changeling. Changeling's good. Flatliner should have been great with the cast and the premise, and Schumacher, but I just can't get into it. They need to make it darker. Yeah, that's one I don't remember much about, honestly, guys. Like Flatliners, I remember watching it and I remember liking it and I thought it was fine, but because that's the one with, what was it, Julia Roberts? And was Julia Roberts in that one? And it pretty good cast, but I don't remember much about it. Steven said, I'm sure Satan would agree. Great trilogy to watch for the Christmas holiday. There you go. And Satan prefers Rosemary's Baby. So who better to ask than the baby daddy himself, Mr. Satan over here? Yeah, Changeling's great. That's not one I'd put on this list. I think Changelings actually might be a little underrated, actually. More people need to see that one. Larry likes the mystery of the original Omen and how it all unfolds. And the sequels have no mystery, really. That's kind of a problem with a lot of movies. I kind of feel the same way about kind of the Child's Play series is kind of the same way. What was the one I was just thinking of earlier where the original, there's kind of a mystery to it. You don't really know what's going on. And then the sequels that followed, the mystery was kind of gone. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Wasn't one we talked about earlier, was it? I think so. But yeah, that seems to be the case with a lot of movies. Like the original has like a certain mystery to it. Friday the 13th is a perfect example. Like the original Friday the 13th, and it still had that mystery to it. You didn't know who the killer was because Jason's dead. And so it kind of makes sense. Oh, here, it's Jason's mom. Okay, that makes sense. And then they bring out Jason. And it's just like, all right, you can't kill this motherfucker. Never mind. Mother of Tears. Argento's Mother of Tears. I like Mother of Tears quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I'm with Jeff. It's not one of Argento's best, but it's definitely, it's not bad. It's not bad. There's some shitty stuff in it, but I kind of like it overall for the most part, I would say. All right, I got one more here. Larry, I'm sorry, my buddy. I know you love this movie. Guys, make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new before I piss all you off. This is one that I appreciate. I appreciate so much, and I want to like it. Again, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with some of these other ones. I want to love this movie so much more than I actually do. Hold on. The motherfucker chart may go off the rails here. I want to love this movie more than I do. I like it. It's fun. It's fine. It's entertaining. But it's not one that I just love. It's the epitome of what this stream's all about tonight, guys. Reanimator. I don't love Reanimator. I like it. It's fine. It's a fun movie. And I try to talk myself into it every time I watch it. But every time I try to watch it, I'm like halfway through, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. Sorry, Michelle. I'm so sorry. I know that you said this was your favorite non-Romero zombie film. But if I'm being 100% honest, it's a cool movie. I like a lot about this movie. Jeffrey Combs. I get it, man. Jeffrey Combs is great in this movie. But every time I watch it, I'm like, I want to love it more than I do. When it's over, I'm like, it's just not quite there. Not quite there. I don't have any real gripes about it. Like it's well made. It's got a great look, great performances. The score is a legit, straight up fucking ripoff from Psycho, though, and Stuart Gordon knows it. He's talked about it in the past. He's like, yeah, the score is a complete ripoff, and I think that was one of the band, bro, Richard Band, I think, did the score for this. The effects are great. I didn't mention the effects. Great effects. Who did the fucking score? Richard Band. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I'm not like crazy about it like some people are. Some people are just like, oh, Reanimator's great shit. Great shit in the world. And I guess maybe it's the H.P. Lovecraft thing. I'm not the biggest I'm not crazy about anything H.P. Lovecraft, to be honest with you. But again, like I said, I have no real gripes with this movie. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I think it's definitely a horror classic. It's one of the best horror movies ever made. But for me personally, Reanimator's just not up there, guys. It's just not up there. And I think to be honest with you guys, I think part of it has to do with when I first discovered Romero and I first fell in love with Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and fell in love with the zombie genre. I remember going to the websites back in the day, the old websites, scarymovie.com and upcominghorrormovies.com. And of course, they had the list where you could click on different, show me all the zombie movies that are out there because I want to find them. I want to watch them. And of course, they had, all the Romero stuff on there. They had Return of the Living Dead and they had all the zombie movies on there. And Reanimator was one that was on there. And I remember looking at pictures of it and thinking, like, wow, this looks fucking amazing. What is this? And I remember watching the movie. And while it is technically a zombie movie, I was disappointed when I first saw it because it didn't have that what I think of as a zombie movie, where the zombies it's a massive horde taking over the world and the whole societal impact of it. So I remember the first time I watched Reanimator, I didn't like it because it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. Years later, going back and rewatching it, I appreciate it for what it is. It's more of a Frankenstein type of movie, more so than a zombie movie, in my opinion, which I wouldn't consider, which I mean, it is, Living Dead, corpses coming back to life, but I wouldn't consider the original Frankenstein or any of the Frankenstein movies zombie movies, really. So I think part of my, not loving this movie as much as I should or feel like I should harkens back to when I was younger and first watching it for the first time. And it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. It didn't have that same, which to its credit, it's not ripping off Romero really, to its credit. But at the time, it wasn't what I was looking for. Kind of left a foul taste in my mouth. Years later, I come to appreciate it, but it's just not one of my favorites, guys. I know I've already pissed off Michelle. I know I've already pissed off Larry. All right, who else have I pissed off here? Oh no. Yeah, y'all saw it coming somehow. There's the blood pressure going through the roof. Grande, big whoa. Bonnie with the what? Yeah, Larry's saying I'm crazy. It is a classic. It's a classic. I will not sit here and tell you that it's a bad movie at all because it is. It's awesome. It's a fun, cool fucking movie. But it's just when I think of my favorite horror movies, it's not up there. It's just not up there with the rest of them. I told you, Michelle, it's what I'm here for. You will not sleep tonight. Last Man on Earth. I liked Last Man on Earth quite a bit, actually. There you go, Justin. Meh. There you go. Which I feel like this would be right up your alley, Justin, actually. I'm surprised to hear you say that, actually. All right, I'm not getting a motherfucker from Bonnie, but she's close. I'm surprised. I didn't get a motherfucker with Reanimator on this one. Granny says, I really should have looked at the thumbnail. Thanks for wearing my merch, by the way. Hey man, I'm always sporting the Grande merch. It's one of my favorite shirts, by the way. That's why I'm always wearing it. It wasn't, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna wear my Grande shirt for these pictures. I'm just either always wearing that shirt, Paul Savini effect shirt that he gave me. I love the way that shirt fits. I love that shirt. So usually I'm always in either like your shirt or Paul's shirt or like, so I always feel like, oh, these guys are going to think I'm just like shilling for them to kiss ass or something. But like, no, like I love those fucking shirts. Your shirt looks fucking badass, by the way. Like I love the way that shirt looks. But you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Rain. Hey. I have. What can I say? What can I say? Reanimator is so fun. It is. It's a fun horror movie. It's a great horror comedy. But Just saying. Limey 75, 3 out of 10. I see. He doesn't motherfuck this guy. He doesn't like it even more than I don't like it. So there you go. I would say out of a scale of 1 to 10, Reanimator is probably like a 6 for me, right off the top of my head. Solid 6. Above average horror film for me, which is, I'm sure, it's still sacrilege to a lot of people, but you know. John says, I'm surprised. Personally, I think it's ahead of the game. I like what you did there. Michelle, the biggest motherfucker, saved for the end, apparently. I'll take it. Larry says, Reanimator changed my life at 12. It's phenomenal in every way. I knew you were a big Reanimator guy, Larry, and I hated to do it, but it's I would call it a blind spot for me because it's one of those movies I totally get why, because it is. I mean, it's there's nothing else like it. It's brilliant. But to me, I like, you know, and it's not even a Stuart Gordon thing. You know, I really like, you know, From Beyond. Love From Beyond. Like, that's a great one too. But, you know, just saying. Yeah, a head giving head. Very meta. Yeah, what can I say? And yeah, the score is basically Psycho. It's basically the Psycho score, which they do that too in Texas Chainsaw 2. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that score's been ripped off 1,000 times before, but maybe not to the point that they do in Reanimator. That's all I'll say. And Stezio has now given me back all my motherfuckers. All right. God damn it. I was feeling good about myself for a second there, but Ed says, hope you have a big box of condoms because you're going to be getting a big fucking lot of motherfuckers. Save the best for last. Yeah, I thought that would be a juicy one. Brighter Reanimator certified trash can water, not even certified trash, but the fucking water that builds up in the bottom of the trash can, which is the nastiest shit. There's nothing worse than taking the trash bag out, tying it up, and then looking down in the bottom of your trash can and seeing just that garbage juice at the bottom. And God forbid something falls down there that you got to pick up. Oh. Anyway, I haven't seen Brighter Reanimator, so I can't really say, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, great Jeffrey Combs role for sure. It's the definitive Jeffrey Combs role. Frightener. I love the Frighteners. I do love the Frighteners. That may be a hot take. Yeah, Frighteners is good. All right, Steven, here we go. Before I read Steven's comment, we'll crack open another one of these. Take another cold swig. Wow. I'm going to read this with enthusiasm too. Wow. You definitely deserve at least 10 motherfuckers for your latest blasphemy. Gore, violence, Barbara Crampton, nude. What is wrong with you? A fine choice to end this night of insanity. It's a good way to put it. I'll take that. This is a night of insanity. John, I'm new. What is your favorite Living Dead film? I was for Night of Living Dead. It's Dawn of the Dead for me, my man. Far and away, Dawn of the Dead for me. I love them all. Satan's not a fan of From Beyond. All right, that's interesting. Michelle drove to a mall in Halifax in a snowstorm and almost wrecked my car to buy the DVD back in the day. Well, sounds like something Michelle would do. Larry says the slight black humor gives it such an incredible edge over so much out there. It's a classic. It's a horror classic that is fun and a bit funny, but the horror is the fully upfront and above and greater than the humor. I agree with that. I agree. People say it's a horror comedy and there's definitely humor to it. You know, especially some of the Herbert West quotes from the movie. It's like, who's going to believe a severed head? You know, get a job at a circus or whatever. Good shit. It's good shit. It's a good movie. But yeah, I agree with that. There's definitely more horror to it. That's for sure. Got to go back. Didn't care for any of the Phantasm movies. Well, you got to go. I love Phantasm. To me, is like one of my all-time favorite movies, the original, and the sequels. They all work in their own unique ways, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, quite a few. Williams ripped off a bunch of his famous scores, like Star Wars, so the Psycho Rip is whatever. Yeah, but it's pretty fucking spot on though. Yeah, right, Jeff. Come on, Phantasm. Come on. Larry Reanimator has a unique voice in horror that has never been matched or topped. Well, let's try this. We had a good poll going earlier. Because I kind of put these two movies in the same vein. Which one do you guys like better? Evil Dead 2 or Reanimator? Came out right around the same time. Kind of in the same vibe for me, in my opinion. The horror comedy thing, but with real good horror to it. So, chat, vote. I like this is fun. I just like playing with this new this new thing. Evil Dead 2 or Reanimator? Vote type 1 or type 2 in the chat to cast your vote. So we got 1 for Reanimator. All right. 50-50. I gotta say, this new little poll edition that they've added to StreamYard's pretty cool. So I'll the comments while you guys are throwing in your votes here. Yes, this is what tonight is, Stephen. A journey of insanity from the mind of an insane Martin fan. I like that. Oh, very cool. John's got a Phantasm review coming out next Friday. I'll look forward to that, my man. Everybody go sub to John's channel. I'll be interested in looking at that. Stezio saying, I love my purple Martin shirt I got from Alfa Romero shop. I'm going to wear that Friday at LDW. I'm looking for it, man. I'll be looking for that that Martin shirt. But yeah, makes a good point. Everybody go check out shop.alfaromero.store. I think shit's on sale right now. 35% off the entire store. Go get it. Help me. So somebody bought a shitload of Ice Palace t-shirts from my store the other day. So keep an eye out. Those may be either they bought them for their whole family or something, or they're going to be popping up on eBay soon for twice as much as I'm selling them for. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, what are they doing? Just selling them to resell them for twice the price? But yes, shop.alfaromero.store. Check it out. So where's our poll at right now? Holy shit, 50-50? All right. Anybody want to break the tie we got going here? I'm not trolling. I'm not going to come on here and say shit I don't mean. Like I said, I like Reanimator a lot. Really like Reanimator. But I don't love it. I just don't love it. There you go. Got to go back. Loved or like From Beyond much more than Reanimator. Kind of with you on that. And maybe it's because Ken is in From Beyond, and I just love Ken in anything. That's a Don fan. Castle Freak? Never seen. I haven't seen Castle Freak, but I know Will likes Castle Freak a lot, so that's one I'll need to check out. This video isn't getting a like. I am deadly curious about how many thumbs down because I'm doing a thumbs down in the fucking thumbnail, so I'm sure people are gonna be like, just instinctively, just like I'm curious to see how many thumbs downs I get on this this live stream this tonight. Oh, I got the beer burps. Sorry, guys. But yes, everybody, guys, try to offset those thumbs down with some thumbs ups on this video. You hope to get it out there so more people in the comments later on, days down the road, can motherfucker me. Like you guys have motherfuckered me to death tonight. But if you want even more people to call me a motherfucker, like the video so more people will see it and say, fuck this guy. What does he know? Stupid mustache fucker. Now get those comments. So I can be at work on a Wednesday in the middle of the day, like dreading, like ready to go home. I'll be like, oh, let me check my phone. Oh, fuck you. All right. All right. Evil Dead 2. Right now in the lead. I'm about to close the poll. 56-44. Michelle's taking her like back on the video. No, don't. I need it. I'm gonna be one of those guys just begging for people to like the video, please, for the love of God. All right. Any more votes? Anybody want to come in? Anybody want to save Reanimator? There you go, Larry's sticking to his guns. Reanimator for the win here. Michelle, did you choose? Says you still can't choose. All right, I'm gonna close the poll. All right, Evil Dead 2, slightly over Reanimator. Slight edge over Reanimator. Here's a hot take. I don't like Evil Dead 2 either, guys. Fuck that movie. No, I'm just kidding. I love Evil Dead 2. But it's not my favorite of that trilogy, though. That might be a hot take. Bunny said, I think you should be able to hype the video after it's done. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. There's like an option to like hype a video if you want, but yeah, do that. I don't know what that does, but you know, better hope your phone number doesn't get out. I did just, well, I'm purposely, I still have this to open, which I'll get to here in just a second. We'll end this on a good note. We'll end it on some Romero goodness tonight. We're already over 3 hours, but I got something in the mail here, and I'm purposely not showing my address so some crazed, Reanimator fan doesn't show up to my house and try to kill me. Stezio says, to be honest, the horror community seems to be able to discuss like/dislike and still stay friends more so than any other fan groups. Absolutely. That's why I felt like it'd be kind of fun to, breach these subjects tonight, because we love talking about this stuff. It's okay to disagree. That's the beautiful thing about talking about movies or music. But there is something particular about horror movies that you're either really polarized one way or the other. And trust me, I hear it all the time from people that if I even remotely like try to defend like Land of the Dead or something like that, people are like, oh, what are you talking about? What a piece of shit that is. Like, that's fine. I get it. Like, it's not for everybody. Martin, Steven, always giving me shit about Martin. It's not for everybody. I get it. But I like it, and it's my channel, so I can say it. But yeah, I do think there's something fun and interesting about that. I just, you don't get it a lot. If I were on here talking about politics, yeah, no, no thanks. All right, thank you, Michelle. We're still friends. Still love you, motherfucker. I'll happily be the motherfucker tonight. Steven says, I actually tried to be understanding. I was even supportive of your alien stance, but there's only so much you can take. You definitely push the boundaries tonight. All right. But hey, you guys had a lot of hot takes at the beginning. Well, I mean, anybody else got any hot ones they want to throw out in the chat? Some ones that, some movies that you don't quite get? I mean, I'm surprised at how many people actually kind of agreed with me on some of these. So I bow to you guys. Have some balls. Won't you act like a man? As Don Corleone would say. All right. Yeah, I haven't even been motherfuckered until Jim Cornette does it. Well, that's not too hard to accomplish. There you go. Jaws is overrated. There's one from Satan. You got that one. John says, why does everyone love The Descent? I like The Descent. I saw that in the theaters when it came out. It's claustrophobic and it works for me. I don't think it's like a masterpiece or anything, but it worked. The zombies that ate Toronto. Yeah, that's basically. Oh, yeah. Robert was talking about Land, Diary, Survival. Yeah, Robert is a forever defender of those. And I appreciate Robert for that. That's why we love you, Robert. We need some of that counterbalance on here. E.T., The Princess Bride, Karate Kid. Those are pretty hot topics. Michelle, hopefully Matt's not kicking around here, but I didn't love Phantasm. Only saw it one time though. Yeah, Michelle, motherfucker, back at you. What are you talking about? Midsommar. I hated Midsommar, but for some reason loved that Snorefest. I love Midsommar, man. I love Midsommar. Love it. It 2017 has nothing on it. 1990. Don't get the hype. I'm with you on that one. But honestly, I don't really like either one of them. So I don't really get the hype of either one of them. I think the original It 1990 has some moments, but it's you know, not my jam. Not my jam. All right. Over 3 hours into this thing. Promise you guys I do an unboxing. Still have a stack of Blu-rays here that I got to talk about, but we went on for long enough. Maybe I'll talk about these next week on the show. But I do want to open these because, like I said, I got this in the mail today. Haven't opened them yet. Thought I'd wait and do it. Have a live unboxing as they do on YouTube. People love watching you open your fucking mail on YouTube, I've discovered. So this is a live unboxing of some stuff that I just recently purchased, some Night of the Living Dead related stuff that I just purchased on eBay. Let me see what the best way to open this is. Packaged very well. Packaged very well. I will say that if I'm giving it a critique. God damn, I don't know if I'll be able to get into it. I'm kind of afraid to really start slicing and dicing too hard here, but so yeah, this is some stuff I came across on YouTube on eBay here the other day, and I ended up winning. There were 3 different. Ow, fuck! Just cut myself. Not bleeding. I'm good. There were 3 different auctions for these various ones. I won 2 of them. Somebody else won the 3rd one. I'm kind of pissed about it because now I feel like it's incomplete. So if anybody else has the 3rd lot of these that are watching this, hit me up. Oh, that's cool. But I saw these, I had to have them. They weren't cheap either. But I gotta, hey, give me a nice note. Thanks, Mike. That's cool. Shout out. Shout out to those guys. I'll share this one last. But I came across these. Somebody was selling a whole, like 3 different lots of some, I guess they were promotional photos from Night of the Living Dead. Wow, these are in really good shape. The Borst collection. Now, here's one of Carl Hardman. I don't know what these were used for. These are in pretty good shape. I don't know if these are originals or reprints or what. Maybe somebody out there. I don't know if Vulo hit me up on these, but yeah. So we got Carl Hardman there, and the cutout around it makes me think that it was used for promotional stuff, maybe posters, flyers, something like that. Got a cool photo of Carl there. Got a nice photo there of Marilyn Eastman with the zombie hand coming in through the door. These are cool photos. Not from the movie either. It's interesting. There's a shot of Johnny coming through the door. Zombie Johnny. Coming through the door, and there's the ghoul behind him. I can't, John Simpson, maybe? Is that him? There's Reed. I think that's Reed Servinsky down there underneath. Interesting. It's a cool photo. Looks like just a headshot of Judith Ridley. Beautiful headshot of Judith Ridley there from right around this time. Got Keith Wayne, our boy Tom, in one of the photos that they got of him not blinking. So rare stuff here. These are really good. These are really cool. Another shot of Johnny. Johnny Ghoul coming through the doorway there with his glove. Yeah, it's really, you can really see. I don't know, man. You can really see not really the detail of the makeup, but I don't know, you never really get a chance to just stop and stare at Russ Streiner as the Johnny Ghoul too often to kind of appreciate how scary he was coming through that doorway. There's Bill Heinzman, Graveyard Ghoul. And again, it's got like the cutout around it. So you'd think like this is maybe some photos or something that would have been used for some promotional materials or something at the time. Our boy, our favorite, Mr. John Russo. And this was Russo. So Russo was originally supposed to be the Graveyard Ghoul at the beginning of Night of the Living Dead. And this was him in the makeup, ready to shoot. And of course, they ended up replacing him with Bill Heinzman. But this is kind of a famous photo that you can see online quite often. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that they ended up going with Heinzman instead of Russo. The makeup looks pretty cool. It works pretty well. But there's just something interesting about Heinzman. The way Heinzman look, you can never tell. Like to me, like watching Night of the Living Dead, you can't quite tell how old Heinzman is. He always kind of looked older than he actually was. Like he kind of looked like an old man, and he, the skinny, lanky body type. It just works better. It works, especially when you see him in the distance, and you don't know quite yet whether or not he's a ghoul or not. If you would have seen Russo coming through the graveyard in the ghoul makeup, might have been a little bit of a giveaway, but just my opinion. Nice close-up shot of Marilyn Eastman there. He doesn't get enough credit, but Marilyn Eastman was just a babe back in the day. I'm sorry. There's Judy Ridley in the truck, getting ready to get blown to shit. Great photo of Dwayne and Judy O'Day. Dwayne putting the shoes on Barbara's feet there. Great still photo. And love this one just because it just captures the family atmosphere of the film. You got the Cooper family here. Helen looking like she's about ready to pop a spring. Harry, same. Karen there on the table. So yeah, just these are really beautiful photos. It says on the back, the only thing printed on the back of them from the Borst collection. Maybe something to look into. These almost look like in such good condition that these are probably recently printed, probably from a negative that someone has, maybe, I would think. I don't think these are original from the time period, but I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I don't know what the Borst collection would be, but then I have one more, and this is my favorite. This is the one that I had to have because you just don't see pictures of George from this time period very often. This awesome photo of George from this time period, late 60s, latent image. You don't see a lot of photos of George from this time period. I don't think I've ever seen this photo of George before. Maybe I have somewhere. I wonder, I think I have the book here somewhere. Yeah, I just love this photo. This one of all of them, this one will be framed and be put up somewhere. Love that era of George. Let me check, because there's an old ad for the latent image where it has a nice, it has like a drawing of George. I wonder if it was taken from that photo. Let me put stack down there. Oh shit! I think it's in the other book actually, but it may be from that. But yeah, I had to have this photo when I came across it. They sold the photo by itself, and it was the one. And like I said, there were 3 different lots. I lost out on one that had like 6 other photos in it. But yeah, this was the prized possession here. Young George, the clean cut, sophisticated businessman leading the company, George. So yeah, I just wanted to share those with you guys. Had to have those photos. They were just some really cool photos that I really hadn't seen very, very often. Some of them I've seen before in other places, but there were a couple there that I hadn't seen before. Some of them with some of the shots of Russ Striner coming through the doorway, and especially that headshot of George. Just looks great. I want to find that. Hold on one second. I'm gonna. Ugh. I think it's in this book, the Raising the Dead, the work of Adam Charles Hart book. I think it's in this book where he's talking about the latent image. There's actually like an old ad or business card or something with George's likeness on it. I think it's in this book. I've been reading so many different Romero books lately. Oh, there it is. I kind of get them mixed up. No, it's a different. Oh, there we go. Different image of George, but somewhat similar. Maybe it was taken from that. I don't know. It's just an artist illustration of that of the image. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting the mic. What do you guys think? Let me back up a little. I don't know if you got. I'm trying to do too much here, but do you see the similarity there at all? Maybe a little bit. Sorry, I got the mic all up on my ass here. Yeah, I was just curious when I saw that on eBay. I was wondering, is that where they got the? Because I guess this was, yeah, this little bio or whatever is right around the time that they were planning on doing Wine of the Fawn, before they decided on doing a horror film instead, which turned out to be the correct course of action there. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Anytime I've been really into photos and ads and stuff like that. That's kind of been my big thing on eBay. Anytime I come across anything like that, that's kind of my thing these days. I've noticed. I just can't get enough of them. John says Night of the Living Dead is my second favorite horror movie. Hell yeah, man! What's your first? What's number one? I don't know if I know that, or if you said that before. Here's a stick. Now let's all argue. Larry says, "Oh yeah, saw those and meant to bid on some, but I missed them. I do have some of them, but never got a chance beforehand to see which ones I needed and which ones I didn't." I wondered if you were the one that outbid me on that other lot, because like I said, there were 6 other ones that had there were 1 or 2 in that lot that I really, really wanted, but 1-2 of the auctions lost out on the other one. So those ones with the jagged cutout things were used in German lobby cards, I think. Okay, very cool. Didn't know that. That's why I love having you here, Larry. John says the cool thing about Night of the Living Dead is that everyone would have lived. They would have just hung out in the basement. Well, actually, sir, you've never been here for this conversation. But actually, if they would have all gone down in the basement, Karen was down there ready to turn at any moment. And she was a ticking time bomb. And as soon as she turned, Ben may have tried to kill her, but Harry would not have let her. So who knows what kind of chaos would have ensued after that. She could have bitten all of them, killed them all, or Harry could have shot Ben. Ben could have shot Harry. That might not have been the best idea, actually. So think of that. Think of that. Does the back of those have Kodak or any other markers? They do. I can't quite read it. It does say this paper manufactured by Kodak. So I don't know if that says anything. I don't know too much about that, but that's why it's what makes me think that they're in such good condition. I think these are have probably been reprinted from a negative somewhere or a collection of negatives somewhere. They were shipped to me. I bought them from a guy out in LA, out that way. So I don't know if that says anything either, but love you too, Robert. John says the Graveyard Ghoul, Zombie Little Girl, Bub are my all-time favorite zombies. Hell yeah. Stijo says I think I'd cut out designs. The cutout designs would be meant for newspapers and the others for possible lobby cards. That's right. Enjoy this movie? Yeah. You gotta enjoy Night of the Living Dead. Come on now. I agree, Bonnie. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Every one of them. Judith, both Judiths, Marilyn. It's good casting there. It's good casting. I think I pretty much have most, if not all. Do you have the headshot of George, Larry? I'm glad you appreciate it, Robert. Matthew says I love the snippets of dialogue in the Argento cut and used by Romero. You wonder why he cut those lines. They were great. There's a lot of stuff that George cut out. I think the original cut of Dawn was 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think. So there's quite a bit that he cut out, which was par for the course for most of Romero's stuff, actually. Because there's a longer cut of Knight Rider, which people always talk about Knight Riders being too long. There's actually like a close to 3-hour cut of Knight Riders that I think is at the archive, actually. And don't get me started on the 2.5-hour cut of Martin that the archive has that nobody's seen outside of like a handful of people. John says the ending of Night is one of the darkest endings in horror, really the first of its kind. Yeah. Which I think is what really, I don't know. I've talked, I think it really sets that movie apart, especially from that time period where you kill the hero, the guy that you're cheering for the whole movie, and he dies, and it's so unnecessary the way that he dies. It's such an accident. It's so, and the ending still works. I've told this story a billion times, seeing the movie in a theater. And it was one of those riff tracks things right around not Hollywood, but Halloween time. Where they're doing the comedy over the movie and stuff. And the crowd in the theater that I was with, you could tell like most of them had never seen Night of the Living Dead or really had no love or affinity for the movie, except for me. And I was sitting next to these two girls that were younger, most likely have never seen Night of the Living Dead. And through the whole movie, of course, it's riff tracks, so they're kind of making jokes and stuff while the movie's playing, and they're laughing, having a good time. But I could tell as the movie was progressing, they were getting more and more invested in the story of the movie. They were getting more and more invested in the characters. And when they shoot Dwayne, when they kill Ben at the end of that movie, swear to God, hand on a Bible, or whatever we got around here, Satan, whatever you got for me. When they shoot Dwayne at the end of that movie, one of those girls goes, even with the comedy track over it, she's still invested enough in that movie to have a visceral reaction to the ending of that movie. And I knew at that moment, I was like, I don't give a shit if you're cracking jokes over this movie, this 45-year-old movie at the time, I think, somewhere around there. This movie still fucking works. I don't care what generation you are, whether you've seen the movie or not, whether you're just out with your girlfriend for a Halloween. Oh, let's go watch the old horror movie where they make jokes about it. By the end of that movie, you're still fucking invested, and you're still shocked when Ben, gets shot, and that's how the fucking movie ends. And all you're left sitting there. You guys know I'm passionate about these fucking movies. You're left sitting there at the end of that movie, watching the posse hook the hero of this movie, just drive a fucking hook into his torso and drag him out of the house and throw him on a fire with the rest of the ghouls, and he's treated like just like another one of the monsters that they have to dispatch. And it's just like you're left just fucking like, wow, bummed out. Just because I was not expecting that the first time I saw Night of the Living Dead when I was younger. And I remember that same like, wow, I did not, didn't see that coming at all. 3.5 hours, man. But I love it. You guys get me going on the fucking Night of the Living Dead stuff here, and I'll start waxing poetic like nobody's business. That's why we call this channel out for Romero. Yeah. George went through very different periods of looks throughout his career. My favorite is the Dawn of the Dead era George with the beard and the long hair. But yeah, everybody always kind of gets shocked because most people know George from the big glasses, the ponytail, and most people when they see George from Night of the Living Dead, that era, they're just like, wow, he has no facial hair and a nice clean cut. He looks like a clean cut guy. And then of course the 70s rolls around and he's just like, fuck it, I'm growing my hair out, I'm growing a beard, and I'm gonna be a fucking artist. I love that. Yeah, handsome Cuban Romero. There you go. Nice pickup alpha. So Steven almost makes up for some of the nonsense tonight. Almost. Well, I'm trying. Diary and Survival in 4K. Yeah, I'm there for it. I'd be down for it. Survival I think would look really good on 4K. Actually, there's some really beautiful shots in Survival. Look at this. We got some Diary love in the house. Johnson Diary gruesomely underrated. We got Matthew saying Survival is underrated. I'm here for it. Michelle says I managed to stay awake for this whole infuriating stream. My work here is done. I was falling asleep all evening before it. It's almost 2:30 a.m. right now, so it's finally time for bed. Thanks, though. It's been fun. Get you some rest, Michelle. I'm glad I could piss you off just before you could fall asleep so you can have beautiful, beautiful dreams about, strangling me or whatever whatever fantasies you're going to have about me tonight after this stream. But thank you for hanging in there. Always a blast having you in the chat. Good night. Here we go. Ed saying Hollywood. Ron Borst opened Hollywood movie posters in 1979. Interesting. The puzzle pieces are starting to come together. Of course, leave it to Ed to fucking research this and find this stuff out. That's why we love you, Ed. Satan says use Google Image. It should say where those photos came from. I might do that. What do we do that for? We got Ed here. And John saying all the original Living Dead trilogies in my top 10, as it should be, sir. As it should be. You keep mentioning this Night of the Living Dead in 3D. I've never seen that. I've never heard of it. Where can I find this? You say iPop 3D. And you're not talking about the Sid Haig Night of the Living Dead 3D, right? Because now you piqued my curiosity. Yeah, ending is jarring, Jeff. Yeah, it really is. And it's really just one of those endings where I feel like, because the original ending, Ben gets killed, but Barbara survives. And at some point, they were just like, fuck, kill them all, So, and I think it works better that way. Yeah. That's another one for the fire. Hang on. I got it. Hang on.
It's another one for the fire.
There you go. Look at that. Me and Jeff work as a team here. Tease them up, I knock them out. Yeah, Bonnie, shocking moment seeing for the first time. Absolutely. Ken, what's going on, man? Kenneth Costa's in the house. Crazy Costa. Hope all is well. Thoughts on Return of the Living Dead 2026? Well, interesting. I'm curious. I'll watch it. I'll check it out. Curious to see what it is. But I'm not, I don't have a real feeling on one way or the other. Um, I don't know. It's kind of out of left field. I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest with you. I'll check it out, but I'm not. My expectations are low, as they usually are with most things now, and I'm proven wrong sometimes, as in the case of Queens of the Dead or something like that. So I'll keep an open mind on the new Return of the Living Dead. Ken, be honest with you, I'll keep an open mind on it. Yeah, Jeff, love the scarf he had and the clothespins on it. I believe. Yeah, he always had that scarf, and then there was that period there where he tried to quit smoking, and it was like a superstitious thing where he would like keep the clothespins on the scarf for every week that he went without smoking. So I think he mentions that in the Document of the Dead, and when he's shooting Two Evil Eyes, where he's got the clothespins on the scarf, and he talking about quitting smoking. He's chewing gum like a fiend and rolling the fucking yo-yo. It's just like that man needs a cigarette, especially on set. Like that dude. George would just chain smoke on set. Like he was a notorious chain smoker on set. You hear John Leguizamo talk about working with him on Land of the Dead, and he would talk about like you never saw him eat, you never saw him sleep, you never saw him do anything except smoke cigarettes and drink black coffee. And that's just the way George went. It wasn't the healthiest way to live. And George went through quite a few different health issues throughout his career. Like I know he had some health issues after right around the time of the crazies. I know he was going through some shit, and I know he had some pretty bad health issues after making Dawn of the Dead because the man would just, wouldn't eat, and he would just drink black coffee and smoke cigarettes. It's like not the healthiest lifestyle, but Steven says, I love George and it's a great picture, but he does look like a cross between Jackie Gleason and Conway Twitty. He does. He does kind of look like an old school country singer there. Hello, darling. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be. Oh my God, we are almost 4 hours into the stream, and I'm singing Conway Twitty. It might be time to start wrapping it up here. Look at my DM, Sistesio. I'll do that. On Facebook, there we go. Oh. So there is a 3D Night of the Living Dead. All right. I will look into that just for you, Matthew. I will look into that. Can you do it on your TV? Do you need a 3D TV to do that? Because I have a 3D Blu-ray of Dawn of the Dead that it doesn't work. Like you turn it on, it's just like blurry and shit. You got to have like a 3D TV and the correct setup for it and shit. But yeah, I'll look into that. That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever even heard of that. Ed says Night still hits a home run, and that movie cost almost nothing to make. Literally, almost nothing, especially by today's standards. Sid says only one I see Night of the Living Dead is with Sid. Yeah, Sid Haig, the the literal Night of the Living Dead 3D. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Ed. Conway Twitty and George Romero. Time to call it a night. I think that's a good place to end it tonight. It's been fun. I thought this would be kind of something different to do. Spark some debate. Okay, shit, Matt. Matthew's saying that's the wrong one. All right, well, the search continues. Then I will definitely look into that. I will definitely look into that. That's interesting. Don't buy that one. Okay, I won't buy that one. But yeah, I thought this would be kind of a fun topic. It's one that I was thinking of, especially. I don't know. I just feel like it's okay, and as we talked about it earlier, like it's okay. Like horror fans, like Romero fans, horror fans, like it's okay to disagree and have the debates because I think those are fun to have because some people love some things and some people not so much, and And that's okay. Not everybody's going to love everything. But I thought it was an interesting topic because there were those movies that everybody loves, but I don't love them. I like them. I appreciate them, but I can't say I love them. Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. I'm glad you had fun. Glad you had fun with this one. Satan, catch you later. Catch you later, Satan. Let me hit the camera there. I always get back there because I got a monitor here and a camera's over here. So sometimes I'll be looking over here, and sometimes it works, like if I'm looking at something from over here, but it's backwards. Whatever. Good night, Ed. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll look into it, man. I'll definitely look into that Night of the Living Dead 3D because that's something I haven't looked into really or heard of. Stesio had a blast. Night Alpha, Night Family, Night Stesio. I'll see you, and we're counting down. We're close. Living Dead weekend. I'll be looking for that Martin shirt, my man, and I look forward to finally meeting you in person. Yeah. Good night, Bonnie. Have a good week. Acres, what's going on? Acres of movies. Favorite movie, Chucky movie kill. It's a random question to ask here at the very end, but I will say favorite Chucky movie kill. God damn. I'm trying to think. And I know those movies like the back of my fucking hand at this point because my daughter is a huge Chucky fan. Oh fuck it, I'll say the teacher getting beat to death with a ruler in Child's Play 2. That works for me because I was always anti-establishment in school. Teachers, everybody wants to. Those teachers, those certain teachers that Pink Floyd always talked about, that would keep you down and discourage the children. Those are the ones you want to just take a ruler to. So it's also the most like ridiculous. It's like this doll is beating a grown woman to death with a ruler. It's just kind of like, but good to see you in here. Thanks for stopping by. Steven says, Alpha, thanks for the stream. Can't believe you actually sung some Conway Twitty, but I still love you despite the horrible takes and your singing. I've done everything I can possibly do tonight to run as many people off as I possibly can. But if you guys show up again next weekend, I will know. I will feel the love, and the appreciation will be reciprocated back to you. Don't know what I'll be doing next weekend. It could be something off the wall and crazy again, but we will see. But I always appreciate and look forward to hanging out and chatting with you guys every weekend. So it's always appreciated. And I know, don't lie, you appreciate you like the Conway Twitty. Come on. I could do a little Randy Travis if you want. I'm gonna love you forever. All right. Night, Larry. I know I've disappointed you in various ways tonight, but I hope you don't hate me. Jeff, thanks, Michael. Thanks for an incredible show. Good night, everyone. Less than 9. That's right. Less than 9 weeks to Living Dead weekend. It's coming, and I'm preparing. I've got some cool ideas for some shows that we're gonna do. We're gonna be hitting Dawn of the Dead hard here within the next month or so. Getting ready for the big Living Dead weekend in June, the big Dawn of the Dead reunion. They've announced some even more badass guests. That's one thing we need to talk about. We will do that next weekend. Talk about these Blu-rays I got over here and kind of do an update on Living Dead weekend because they've announced some pretty killer guests as well. So, but yeah, man, I will see you there as well, my man. I look forward to it. Hey, thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Thanks for hopping in here. Matthew says it comes with both digital 3D and regular old school 3D. Also comes with a pair of 3D glasses. Okay. I'll look into it, man. I will report back. I will report back next week and I'll let you know what I found. But yeah, until then, guys, appreciate y'all as always. I will see you guys next weekend. Again, even though I'm sure I pissed a lot of you off, help a brother out. Like the video. Subscribe if you're new. If you're watching for the first time, hit that sub button. Comment below if you're watching. Like I said, if you're watching this after the fact, comment below and tell me how fucking horrible my takes are. I will take them into consideration and reassess my life's choices. So comment, subscribe, all that fun shit. shop.alfaromero.store. Check out the goodies over there. But until next time, everybody stay safe, stay prepared, but always stay scared.